Hey, what's up, folks? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the show, Sunday Night Fights. Hey, Mitch. Nice to have you as a spectator this time around. Usually Mitch is playing, but I think taking a break this time. We absolutely do need a Sunday Night Fights emote. That would be perfect. I'm gonna get to work on that. We'll need some ideas. Actually, you could just say Sunday Night Fights. That would work. We should spam it. Well, we got 2 games so far.
Yeah.
Pirate King, who we haven't seen in a while, playing Josh Mateo. And one more game in the from one of the Squire round robins. Actually, a lot to go over this week. A lot has happened. A lot has changed. A lot of new things in the dojo.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Tell you what, why don't we start just by looking at the beginning of this game, just to set the stage here. I think, by the way, like I say, Shock Musteo was crushing in this tournament, and he needs to lose this game if anybody else is gonna have a chance. He took a break. Now, knight c3 I think is a little funny to me. I would prefer probably g3 in this position. But okay, knight c3, now g3, d5, exactamundo, and now, okay, here we go. We had a little bit of a fight about a position that was a little similar to this last week, I feel, where you wanted to defend the way white was playing. Anyways, I feel like black is doing fine here, and bishop g4 seems like a real problem to me. Shock Musteo played bishop f5.
Yeah, I actually really like these positions when white has e3 instead of g3, so that we can just put the bishop on e2. Thanks for the bits, by the way, Mitch. Much appreciated.
But then we got this wild thing happening, and in general, I like black. It's going to be hot and hectic very soon here, but in general, if you take on c5 this early, unless some disaster strikes those pawns, my experience has been that this is a good position for black.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised here why white took so quickly. I mean, was this necessary? Couldn't white have just played rook c1 and now you're all starting take and knight a4 and stuff?
And the thing about taking, we should say, is you unleash the potential power for those pawns. In particular, obviously there's d4, but also you gave the queen both of these squares, which is important, not only to develop and get the rook behind, but also the queen can be active over there, get those rooks involved. So black is really a couple of moves away from complete domination in the center. And if you're going to do this, you need some power move right now. And the only thing I can say is the bishop f5 move still strikes me as a little hokey. But at this point, even if we lost the tempo and went back or something, I still think black is doing fine. Yeah.
I don't know. I always like white in these positions against the IQP, both bishops fianchettoed. To me, it's like a dream.
Oh, you would actually rather be white here?
Oh, 100%. Especially after b6. I feel like b6 was not great for black in this structure.
Now, in terms of the history of this, I have no idea about the history, like b6, bishop f5. Those moves I don't totally understand. In fact, I just don't. But this position, I do feel white needs some good moves pronto, or else he is just going to be worse.
You mean in the game?
In the game position, yeah.
Yeah, well, after bc5, I mean, white has kind of freed black's hand here. Now black can play d4 and just start advancing. So.
Right. And he did play knight a4.
Okay, I like knight a4. I think that's absolutely fine.
Well, the thing about knight a4, black should definitely think here. By the way, that's funny. I talked about Kasparov, and this book, the second book in the Nikitin about Kasparov's really interesting. That what I didn't understand about the Tarrasch is that it was his coaches that kind of forced him to play the Tarrasch, and he, well before Dubov, was Kasparov who reinvented the Tarrasch opening, and his coaches rightly were like, this is the kind of position where you can slay your opponents because it's very tactical and hard to judge. Anyways, so he had a lot of positions like this where black is just better. And here black wants to think. He has several contenders here. I feel like knight e4 is the obvious contender, but there are other contenders as well. You do have to play this very accurately. And let me just say the dogmatic truth that the more pieces that we can keep on as black, the better that is for us.
Right.
The bishop on f5 is weird because I'm not sure what it's doing. But there are conceivable ways in which that bishop could end up something. Black has several candidate moves here. You sure you like this position for white?
Not after DC. Not after DC. I think white definitely should have played rook c1 just to set this up, because then white can take whenever. I think what Icy says in the chat is correct. To me, the knight on c6 is better placed on d7 for black, just to cover the c5 pawn. But I'm with Jesse. I feel like knight e4, for example, should be the first move black looks at here. Just because it's thematic. White plays knight a4, attacking the pawn. You take space with knight e4, and you cover the pawn at the same time.
Now, I want to say with this, if knight e4, I feel like I want to figure that one.
Knight d2, right?
I don't have an answer yet. So if I was going to play knight e4, I'd want to have an answer to knight d2. And I don't, at least at the moment.
Well, this is why I like playing against these pawns in general.
Yeah.
White's moves are always just like rook c1, knight d2, knight a4, knight h4.
Black has several moves. Let's mention just several. You could play d4 just to say this bishop's done. You could play queen a5. Now bishop f6 isn't a threat yet, so you could do a variety of things, like you could play rook c8 first. That can't be too bad. I don't think you want to play knight b4, but it might be legal. It might be legal to play knight b4.
Oh, knight b4.
If a3, you've got bishop c2. If rook c1, you've got knight a2. And if queen b2, you've got to worry about that stuff. I'm not certain. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just trying to put out, trying to say that it's a very dynamic position. And the only thing I know about these positions is like, this is black's moment to put the hammer in, to make sure that white doesn't get to trade pieces and that we squish the bug. We squished the bug.
Yeah, I think bishop c2 there was just, white just moves the queen, and then the pieces are hanging.
After a3?
Yeah. So I think we just play a3.
Fine. Oh, and then queen c1.
Queen c1, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I like knight e5 was a suggestion for an idea for white. I think a lot of times when we're playing against weak pawns, we're trying to trade off minor pieces. Jesse, you can tell me actually if you... I've always thought it's like... I don't know if truth is a strong word, but a correct principle. Like when you're playing against IQP or hanging pawns, white is trying to get to just a heavy piece position, queen and two rooks.
Absolutely right, yeah.
So from that point of view, knight e5 definitely makes sense. Knight e1, knight d3, I think also kind of an idea for white, but all these positions, I mean, they're they're always just still going to be really concrete. So there are many moves that could be considered thematic, but understanding like which one I think actually takes some analysis.
Okay, so this is where I went. Rook c8. I'll promote that. And rook c1, knight e4, and knight d2 did happen. Like I said, that was the move that I wanted an answer to. And I mean, are things hot and heavy after bishop g5? I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt they're actually hot and heavy after bishop g5. Maybe. I know. I don't. I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
So right, and so like Kosi was saying, we do not want to trade pieces, and in general, the unmasking of the bishop on g2 is a good thing anyway. So this is a real question mark for Black here and how he goes forward. Let's just look at the weird bishop g5. I really distrust that move, but I feel like I don't see another. Do you see another move that like at least gives White some drama?
Other than bishop g5, well, my first instinct is always bishop f6. I haven't mentioned it just because I don't think it works. White just takes on f6 or takes on e4, right. and Black's pawns just kind of fall. So bishop f6 doesn't seem to work. If knight d2, queen d2, then it just feels like both of Black's pawns are hanging, and that, usually is a problem. So I don't see an easy solution here either. Hold on, maybe. Maybe like knight d4. Is this a try?
Right now.
Feels like it should blunder a pawn somehow, but
it's definitely the kind of thing where Black needs a dynamic right now.
Yeah.
Knight d4 is at least clever. I mean, I have a lot of sympathy towards it. Let me try knight takes e4. Which way do you want to capture?
I was just thinking pawn.
If you go pawn, now maybe I've got other moves here, but aren't they just better after e3? E3 might be a weenie move, but I just wanted to try the weenie move first.
Yeah, it looks nice. Wait, but on knight f3, are you just taking the pawn or going for the endgame?
Oh, I seem like more than a free pawn because I get the development too.
Yeah, this wouldn't be so obvious for me. I feel like, or at least I need a second to make sure that Black doesn't just get bishop b7 in one move.
These minors over here are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, let me try, I don't know, just for fun, bishop d7. I need to be convinced. How does White handle this?
In the game, it looks like bishop g5 was played, bishop d7.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Rook f1.
Yeah, queen c7.
If I wanted to really be a lame-o, I could play queen f4. How about queen e4?
Well, bishop c6.
No good, right?
Yeah, I guess you're taking on c5 next, right?
I thought f6 and e5.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like, okay, black is just not in time.
Well, they are playing very quickly, as they do.
Oh,
And
f4.
bishop g5. You know, I have a feeling maybe Shock Musteo was just saying to himself, that is the only move that I've got that can hurt the guy, is bishop g5. And here both e3 would be like, well, there's questions I need. Okay, so let's just go through his ideas. If e3, black has to, or white has to worry about knight takes, queen takes, d4. However, this looks very strong. It takes c5.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So I don't know
everything hanging there
with e3 is. The problem of bishop g5, excuse me, is that you've flown away from your wingman over here. You know, it's like a Top Gun movie. Leave the wingman, but he can't leave him alone. So I don't understand. But then we had f4 and bishop f6. This all happened. They're playing very fast. I think, you know, it's really hard for these guys to think long when they're used to playing kind of blitz chess online.
right.
It'll be my problem. All right, DEN. This looks just terrible for black, but there's at least some technical difficulties here.
Yeah, definitely. But
terrible. You can take on c5. It's queen b6. There's knight a4.
And he does.
And he does. They're doing this really fast.
Yeah, this happens so quickly.
And the bummer for black is not just, I mean, there's multiple bummers. There's like this bummer. There's the fact that the knight is going to come, not only be strong, but block up the c file. The pawn on e4 is weak. Everything is falling apart for the Musteo.
Yeah. So did black have anything better than bishop f6 after f4? Yeah, f4 felt really risky, but I mean, seeing how the game went, that's totally fine for white.
Yeah, it was either e3 or f4.
But more I see the game position, I'm like, yeah, f4 was a good move. if that's what it leads to. I mean, I just feel like no one spent enough time to figure anything out here. So,
right.
You know, both players are just kind of guesstimating, and okay, works out for white, but that's just kind of, I think, almost like good fortune.
But back here, let me try your knight b4 move again, because I thought that, like, that's the kind of, this is where you really have to tank. Honestly, like I said, you need to see knight b2 coming first and decide what you're going to do after knight b2, because that's the logical move. So if you have an idea after knight d2, then you can do it, and maybe it's going to be something like knight b4.
Mm-hmm.
Another, I'm going to say, mildly strange move that might work out was going to be queen a5, snip, snip, queen d5, bishop g6. Just bear with me a second. Bishop e4, rook fd8. Now we haven't actually, we're not going to, I don't think we're going to win the pawn back, but we might get enough play in a position like this. Maybe, you know, and that's a maybe. I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, definitely feels like more, or just like technical difficulties again.
Right. Your move. Okay, let me try that move.
Hey, pass pawn.
Snip.
Yeah, generally with black here, with the hanging pawns, like you're just trying to keep more pieces on the board. Otherwise, the pawns do just get weaker and weaker.
Okay, let's go to the other game. We got Mitch chiming in saying black is better now. Here's a hilarious thing. Scott is my student. He's an old dude. And Kostya's student is the young kid. Like Kostya. Kostya's a young buck.
Young man.
He's a young man, excuse me.
No,
you're
he's
as old as we are. If you're old as me and Scott, we're allowed to call you a kid.
okay. Fair enough.
In this position, my sense was he was moving so slow. He didn't know this. He just knew that this was the 7th. I'm not aware of bishop e3 as a move.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop d3, of course, is the main business. So after bishop e3, I'm certain that there's more than one move for black, but he goes for it here. I don't know, this Scott's move here. I don't know. c5. Now I know that Scott loves this. Now let me just share. Scott is so old, and I'm so old that even before Fischer played bishop d3, everyone did bishop e2, and then you could get this position, which is like very much a Sicilian dragon position.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of dream that I know that Scott is pursuing here. And your student is just taking all the pawns. And although I don't know exactly what's happening, like Mitch said, it looks pretty good for black.
Yeah, super risky. I see this in like the 4 pawns attack in the King's Indian. There's this idea to go like c5 and queen a5. I mean, it's hard to compare it to this. It definitely feels like white could be in big trouble already. But
yeah, I mean, if he doesn't have a good move right now, then I'm just going to say it's over.
Well, yeah.
He really needs a good move right now.
I mean, so far all I've got is bishop d4.
Oh, yeah. But then the king.
Well, yeah, rook takes e7. I'm going to go bishop e2.
Okay, let's try it out. So, bishop e4. Now, I assume there's multiple moves, but let's just make the obvious one first. Rook e7.
Yeah.
Bishop
and
e2.
yeah, I was thinking, right. Yeah, it doesn't look great.
It doesn't look great.
Feels...
I mean, just as a default move, I could take here. Pawn takes, I guess.
Yeah.
Knight c6. This is just if black doesn't even want to think about it.
Okay, white.
Yeah, that's done.
White castles.
And again, I'm not even gonna think about that. I'm just gonna develop.
But I mean, kind of feels like it just feels like white gets off a little easy.
Oh no! Look at that. I'm gonna. All my pieces are coming. That's gonna fall. That's in trouble. These squares are in trouble. E-file is amazing.
Okay, yeah, all of black's pieces are good. And all the white's pawns are weak. I guess.
Okay, but let's just say, I mean, of course we can debate this position, but the point is that after bishop d4, it's the kind of position where if you turn on the computer's just gonna like explode. Yeah. I feel that's my intuition. But in the moves I made were just like the natural ones to put on the board.
Right, it does feel pretty.
Knight c6 is a problem. Maybe knight c6 might be a simple improvement here too. Yeah, I mean that's just the end, my friend, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, dangerous. I know we got to talk about the perk. We haven't gone over anything in the perk. Hasn't come up yet. You know.
Yeah, I really like the way Scott's been playing the perk. It's you know, I think there's some standard plans you can adopt. It's very hard for white players because they have to understand that it's not just about mate, it's about space. And space is hard. Plus, like if you lose control of your center squares, kind of like white has done here, it's just a real pain. You end up getting this terrible position. And think about it, we're on move what, 11, and the game is over. Oh, actually, we're still on move 9. But the game is basically toast.
Yeah,
I
it
have to
kind of
say,
blew up.
when I'm teaching some old guy and he's beating Kostya's young buck student, oh man, that's a good feeling. Now we should say, I'm going to say the game isn't over yet. The game isn't over yet, and Scott has suffers from complacency, where he has let many good positions go because he wants to not have to calculate. Right? He just wants it to kind of roll.
Right.
The way Greg Shahada plays Blitz. He just wants it to roll. Doesn't want to think about anything. So that's there.
What about knight e5? Knight e5, I feel like just black takes on c3. And maybe we can try the queen d2, something like this.
Yeah, or just knight c6 too after knight e5.
Or just knight c6. Yeah, that's the move. That's the Scott move. Like, you just see it and you're like, okay.
I don't want to think about this.
Yeah, that looks.
Yeah.
Oh, Mitch read Perk Alert. Wow, throwback.
It's funny. Scott has also read Perk Alert, and that's where he gets his c5 stuff, because the Perk Alert really wanted to play c5 on these positions. Yeah.
But then Mitch gave it up after losing one game to a master. You could have played any opening, Mitch. You would have lost that game. It's not. It's not a reason to check the opening. No, I think the perk is fun. I mean, nowadays I like playing knight c6 and then d6, g6. So it's very, very perk.
Wait a second. We got to talk about that, buddy. Let's get into that. So, how does it go? You do some strange stuff, my friend. You're doing like, it's like this thing, the two knights tangy or something like that. Is that
No. Come on, here I'm playing the King's Indian.
Okay, but on e4 you're doing some weird
stuff. On e4 I'm playing knight c6 because I want to play King's Indian as well.
Because you want to play the King's Indian as well.
Yeah, especially against e4 players who, oh my god, have. I mean, imagine how dangerous the King's Indian is for a new d4 player, and then think about a King's Indian position for like an e4 player who's like never plays a closed position.
Okay, but I need help. So how do you get a King's Indian?
Well, the plan is just to go like d6, knight f6, g6, bishop g7.
Why don't you just do that with c6? Then you're playing the perk, buddy. Why do you need to put the knight on c6?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give away all my secrets, but after d6, what's white's best move? d4. Everyone knows this. After knight c6, not everyone is going to play d4 because you got to be ready for d5. That's another kind of tricky. I don't like the d5 line, but there's also e5. And so a lot of players, they just play knight f3 because that's what they've been taught against knight c6. But now white has limited a bunch of their options in the perk.
Okay, so now you play d6.
Yeah.
And then just humor me for a second. So d4.
d4, go knight f6.
Just humor me for a second. So knight c3.
Yep. Had this many times.
And now you're going to go g6.
Right. So I mean, this wasn't my idea, of course. This has been around for a long time. I noticed it when Magnus played it in Isle of Man. Really important game as black against Kazim Zanov, Fabi's second, which I thought was interesting. And Magnus played this against him, presumably like trying to play for a win, and they got I think in that game white played he just went for the King's Indian. He played like d4, I think bishop d3 somewhere, or maybe d5 first, knight b8, and they essentially got this. Let's say castles, and then Magnus just played bishop g4, took this one, c6, knight d7, queen c7. I mean, I always thought like white was better in this position, but then I was like analyzing that game, and Magnus was just like, no, there's not much here actually for white. It was really tough to get anything.
Right. Once white plays d5, there's a pretty solid setup for black. Okay, let me just ask the obvious question that all the chess fans out there are asking. Let's say you got this position and you were black. Let's just put some. Would here in this position, would anyone in their right mind ever play knight c6 here? Oh my God, no! You would not do it. Sure. You wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but what price am I paying? I mean, I would go bishop g7 and then knight c6.
Okay, so what Mitch is saying is that the motivation here is to get to avoid the Austrian. Does that jive with what your motivation?
Yeah, absolutely. In this move order, let's say white doesn't go knight f3. So knight f3, of course, kills the Austrian attack with f4. But even if white plays, let's say, knight c3 and f4, in this position, black can go e5. This is one of the ideas. And it's, I mean, I've analyzed it a bit. I think, like, honestly, I haven't found anything that looks like, a real advantage for white. I think it's always playable.
Those positions are interesting to me because they get the end games are totally playable for black, and it just turns into an interesting game. Where actually, I had an idea for a YouTube series. I have so many ideas.
I know.
But I want to do like an end game repertoire for black, and that would kind of be on the level with some of the stuff that I would want to do.
An end game repertoire, does that mean an opening repertoire that just tries to get into end games?
Right.
Okay.
We got a question from Sombrero, and let's get into that for a second.
Yeah.
So we got d6, knight f6, bishop d3. Now, this is an ancient system, and my understanding is that bishop d3 is inaccurate because of 5.
That's right.
Where you not have to play g6. Now, you could play g6, and the game's not over. And just to get really move ordery on people, when I was playing knight f3 on move 1 for a brief moment, I experimented with playing bishop d3 here. Yeah. Which is very similar to the bishop d3 that Sombrero is talking about. And we can talk about the Sombrero too. It turns out that this is not that special for white. What he's doing really is, I guess, especially with the system of c3, is like a holding system, right? You're just holding your opponent. And maybe you have a small pension. That's my sense of it.
I think it's actually a pretty underrated system. But if and only if, again, white is comfortable playing that King's Indian structure. I think like Aronian did something like this against Magnus and got like a really good position because they transposed into a King's Indian structure, but it was a nice version for white, and of course Aronian knew exactly why, right, and just took advantage. So this one I feel like is definitely like a very solid choice for white. If I had a student like doesn't want to study a lot of theory, I would set them up with this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Mitch is talking about my endgame variation, and so that's the straight endgame variation would be d4, d6, here and here, and it is very possible for black. And what's interesting is, while it's clear that this is plausible for black, what wasn't always clear to me is, let's say there's this other variation where you can play it this way too. And it was to my great surprise that I discovered that this position was also playable for black. And the reason it was a surprise is, okay, in this position, black wants to play c6 to dominate the knight, put the king here, and often on knight f3 to play f6. But, of course, now this knight is the knight's on f6. So a lot of times in these variations, we're going to do things like bishop e6 and king e7. Which is a little bit different than the normal stuff.
Now, when you said endgame repertoire,
Uh-huh.
what I was hoping for was a repertoire of like classic endgame positions that you should know, like something like this, and then you just explain like, okay, and what you do is you put your king on c7, and you just outline the plans just like you did, and then maybe you jump to, I don't know, like an advanced French structure, and you talk about, okay, you got to dominate the c file, play f6 at
Uh-huh.
some point, get your king in, like, and just give people like a very basic like X's and O's plan for like some of these thematic endgames.
Yeah, no, that would be fun too. And in fact, I think the idea of the endgame repertoire would be that a lot of these endgames that, like, let's say the computer says it's equal, right? You can develop an understanding of the position, and it is lethal. Then it becomes very lethal if you understand what's going on, because there'll be plans and there'll be all kinds of interesting stuff going on. People's endgame plans out there or their play is so bad compared to their play with tactics, opening stuff, that it can become very powerful. But also, more importantly, I think the cool thing about an endgame repertoire is that you could say to yourself, okay, I am studying endgames, and not just the Dvoretsky stuff, but I'm like studying actual classic endgames and my own endgames, and I'm going to force myself to get more endgames by playing an endgame repertoire. However, I want to give more footnotes. My experience so far with this is that white players are not taking the pawn because they're scared of the endgame.
Well, yeah, you feel like you don't get anywhere, and your opponent has their plan and all of their moves, and so yeah, might as well just keep pieces on the board and just take the space advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, I should make a video on the knight c6 stuff. I have a name for it. It's the sloth.
The sloth.
Because the sloth doesn't want to learn a new opening against e4. The sloth just wants to play the King's Indian against everything. So that's the sloth, knight c6. Sunny, I haven't done, actually, I did a little bit of Puzzle Rush today, not much, but I'm going to have to do my 2 hours later tonight. Looking forward to it.
So whoever said 95 was correct. You get played 95. And let's kind of make sure I got this. Actually, there's something. I'm gonna refresh this stuff. Yeah, and then he just took on e7. Now we were talking about maybe playing knight c6, and there's an argument to be made that rook e7 is maybe inaccurate.
Yeah.
Wait a second. There might be a problem with rook e7. Can white play queen d5? Ruh-roh. Can he play queen d5? That would be very upsetting to me if he could play queen d5. Oh no, Kostya. I don't like it. That is very. What am I supposed to do then? Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard move to see, though. I mean, maybe not. You saw it instantly.
Yeah, I think exactly. If I saw it instantly. Well, also just white wants to get out of dodge. And so let's think about this knight e5. So my first reaction was knight c6, but I think that was actually also a mistake because queen d5 there too looks like it's a challenge to face. So someone mentioned. Now, I just want to say, I am certain that black is better here. But knight e5 has some good practical things. So let's say knight c3. I like your queen d2. And now knight still looks fantastic for black, but this is like something like this is what he's got to do.
Yeah.
Because here he can at least try to get the ladies on.
Right.
And sure, black is better in a variation like this. Take on you, but first, I guess. Yeah, black's got to be better.
Right.
Right. Well, he's going to find queen d5. Your student is thinking about it, and my student, he did. Well, I want to say he did think for 5 minutes on rook takes e7.
Right.
And oh man, and that's the thing about. I feel like Scott and a lot of other players have a pretty good understanding of what I want to call the dynamics of chess. Where, for example, I feel like the guy can play often very good attacking chess and be dangerous. But he continually gets in trouble in positions like this where he doesn't see all the tactical resources in his opponent. Right? And after queen d5, honestly, I don't even see anything for the guy. Right? I don't even see anything. Queen d5. It's almost like hard to imagine, but I guess.
Well, this one is a better version for black with the knight on c6. But in the game version where the queen on a5 is undefended, yeah, it really feels like black has really limited options.
Oh, excuse me, right, queen d5 here.
Yeah.
I mean, well, even that one, I didn't understand what we're supposed to do.
Well, there at least black can go knight takes c3 and just we'll just go into that endgame where white has double pawns. I mean, black is not definitely not losing there, I don't think.
I mean, are we lost after queen d5 plus? Yeah, it looks to me. I honestly just don't even see anything after this.
Here it's yeah, I haven't really found an idea yet. But I don't know. I mean, oh, I got something. Queen b4.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. I like it a lot. Okay, there are several issues. Okay. Now, the thing about queen d4, it's like maybe you're kind of sort of surviving. Nota bene, queen d8 looks just horrendous.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks terrible. Actually, what are we talking about? This queen d8, bishop f8. Can I just snip and snip? Oh, wait, sorry, excuse me. You still got queen d2.
e2.
And now, worst case scenario for white, though, is I just snip.
Looks pretty good for white. Definitely not definitely not easy to calculate from the start, but this does look good.
I mean, the thing about it from white's point of view, though, right, is that if you don't find queen d5, then black is going to take on c3, play knight c6, and I think you're definitely going to be worse then.
Well, I was actually, before you said queen d5, I was thinking about b4.
Oh my god.
So I'm trying to get to queen d8 again.
Okay, but that's insane, right? Because I just take it and queen d8, bishop f8, and I can take on c3 after.
Yeah, I don't think it works out for but I mean, like 3 minutes ago white was basically busted, so any kind of messy situation was
right.
Kind of on white's side. Hey, Amateur Chess, so we are actually going over or watching live classical games from students of the dojo on our Discord. This Twitch channel, this is like a small thing. Everything happens on the Discord in ChessDojo, and this is where people set up tournaments and matches and games and stuff. And so yeah, every Sunday we just have some commentary on anyone who plays and posts their game for people to watch. It actually takes courage to post your game. I'm surprised so many people do it, because everyone's like watching the game and we got a 45-45 game from Eric. I think your student Eric E. Honer.
Oh yeah, let's do it, man. Pull that up.
He posted one. We'll have to grab it actually. It looks like they're playing on Lee Chess, but
Oh yeah, okay.
if you can,
Lee
oh,
chess
maybe I
is
can
so
get it.
complicated to me. I'll get it. I'll get it.
It's hard to yeah. We can see what's happening.
I'm gonna need pro tips on how to steal their PGN. That's so how do I okay, this is a question for the lead chess experts in the audience. How do you take the PGM from a ongoing game? Now obviously I can just copy the moves, but especially as the game progresses, I need this is where it kills me that you
Oh,
can't do
from a live game, yeah.
from a live lead
hard.
chess game. I can't.
If you go to the under Black's rating, there's a button that says analysis board. Maybe that'll let you.
I'm on the spectator room here under Black's rating.
On the right side.
The Black's.
Where it says like Najdorf 77. And then just above the moves, there's like a little hammer button. I don't know what that is, but.
The analysis board?
Yeah, so that lets you put it into an analysis board, and then can you download from here? Not really. I
don't know. Yeah, I've tried this a bunch.
A way.
I actually screamed once because I couldn't figure it out.
FEN PGN? Not for a live game though. Yeah, actually that is weird.
I've had this trouble with. Oh, it's very difficult. Okay, but I'll tell you what. We have it is like a English King's Indian going on here. It's a pretty interesting game. Your spirit, I've got my student to play the King's Indian.
Nice.
And I think especially young kids should be playing the King's Indian. Eric is even younger than you, Costa. Even younger than you.
Wow.
So, no, and I think this has been, he gotten, I feel like he is stronger in the end game and with tactics and in blitz chess than most of his opponents in the round robin, but he has, like a lot of young kids, is making really terrible positional judgments. We saw that against Vishnu and a couple other players where he just, and Ryoba Kajet, just totally fell apart in some key moments with the positional judgments. And it's people. I did that thing about openings, and people were yelling at me saying, "You're talking all this positional blah blah. It's all tactics." I'm like, watch Eric Homer's game. The guy's a tactical genius, but he needs some help with understanding what the ideas of the position are.
Yeah, we should talk about your video. I mean, I saw people on Reddit. Reddit people are always, there's a certain culture on the chess Reddit. It's like, it's very cynical, I would say.
Uh-huh.
But they're just like, it's all about tactics. I think there's a lot of people who believe that their natural talent determines the majority of how far they'll go. So they think of someone who's a GM and they're like, okay, that player was born to be a GM. They see someone who's like an NM, it's like, okay, that guy had like a lot of aptitude for chess, not as much as GM, but much more than me. And so a lot of their like, so that's why they study openings, because it's like, okay, this is just knowledge I can just input into my brain. I don't have to rely on like my natural talent or my natural ability. It's just like, it seems like a very straightforward way of making progress in chess. So they like their openings over there on Reddit.
Uh-huh. Oh, thank you, Pascal. Yeah. Well, and yeah, Reddit, let's just say it's been we've done all kinds of YouTube videos, and only the ones that someone posted to Reddit exploded in terms of how many times they were watching. So I didn't know before this Chess Dojo thing. I didn't understand how powerful the R Chess Reddit thing was. That was totally new to me. No idea. No idea.
Yeah, a lot of people are on there, but I would say for the most part, the people that are good, it's just that a few people can say the same thing and make it seem like the majority has that opinion, like a vocal minority. I think that happens a lot on Reddit. You have one guy saying some wrong opinion, you got another guy backing him up, you got people upvoting them, and yeah, before you know it, no one's learned anything. But yeah, they're very much tactics over there, I would say.
So guess what? Your student, I think he's channeling you. He did not play Queen B5. He played this B4 move.
Oh, nice.
Holy moly is what we got to see there. And
that's good. We've been working on his concrete play. I like it. It's very concrete.
It is very concrete. Now, what this does is, without calculating, I'm just assuming Queen takes B4 is the right move. But I think why Scott is thinking is he can play Knight C3 as well.
Yeah.
However, after Knight C3, I think we got to believe in white. I think.
Right, because it just feels nice that the rook gets to D1 so quickly and threatens rook D8 check at the end.
Here, let me grab this, because this is turning into a very concrete position.
But I think even in this endgame at the end, it feels like black goes Knight C6 and... feels like black shouldn't really be worse here in the end game. Hey, thanks so much for the bits, Mendacious Me. Much appreciated. Question: is there a site where you can load a PGN and turn it into a guess the move kind of thing, and then have an engine evaluate your move versus the move played in the game? Okay, the second part, that is very specific. I think the guess the move, I feel like they have it on Lichess, where you can turn your PGN into like an interactive kind of thing where it doesn't show you the next move played in the game, but you can try to play it yourself.
Mitch, we're about to get to that, but first, you just want to talk about this ending. I don't think so. Like bishop C after knight C6, bishop C5, and then where does your poor rook go?
I don't know, rook E8?
Maybe I might have to admit that I was a little fast here, but bishop B5. Maybe you can just play F6.
Well, what about bishop takes E5?
Okay. At the very least, it's not as clear as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so I take it back. I was uncertain about that. My dude played queen takes b4. He didn't even think about that one. No, he just played. He just played it. So here we go. B4. Queen takes b4. He at least has the time advantage. The problem that I need to communicate to him is the time advantage doesn't mean anything unless you think.
Right.
Okay, so I was assuming here, Austin, that we were going to get like queen d8, bishop f8.
Forced. Yep. On the board.
Now, if queen c8 though I'm going to assume knight c6 is the end of the world.
Oh. Yeah, knight c6 was probably missed.
Oh, is that already happening? Oh, queen d8, bishop f8 is on the board. Yeah.
Yeah, queen c8 hasn't happened yet, but I feel like queen c8 was probably the idea because white's knight on c3 is definitely a goner. I don't think white has any. Not seeing any other options here. Yeah, kind of unfortunate, but.
Unfortunate? What do you mean? This was all planned, Kostya. Me and my guy had this figured out.
Wait, so you guys plan to go into this position with queen d5 hanging?
Yeah, we figured this out.
So yeah, now knight c6. Yeah, That hurts. Okay, wait. We take.
Oh, this is long.
King E2.
King E2. Sorry, Cozy, I shouldn't laugh. I mean, we got more than one move, but if we just take the rook, oh man, your queen's out of play. Or...
Yeah. No, I mean, I was just asking for the crowd. I knew this was bad. I mean.
Okay. King E2 looks tough. Well, now the reason I said that was that you correctly predicted B4, and then for your student, like you had channeled, you've studied with him enough that you know. And this happens. I know a lot of times what my students are going to do, even the bad moves. We're about. Oh, we see it was played. Please, Scott, think about it first, because if you didn't think about it, what, you just play queen takes c3, right? I guess. But knight c6 is the hammer blow of hammer blows.
Well, I mean, if I was black, I would assume I'm also thinking about knight takes c3.
Sure, you could think about all kinds of things, I guess, but yeah. Come on, buddy. Come on, you can do it.
I mean, this also looks pretty good for black. Like this, I don't really see easy move here for white.
He's had a bad run of it, Scott has, in these kinds of positions, and honestly, he deserved death after queen d5, I guess. Man, I think your student legitimately saw to this position when he played b4, simply missed queen d5, saw this position, and then probably is sitting there right now going, oh no. Oh no, if my opponent finds knight c6, it's all over.
Maybe. I don't know. I see him as pretty relaxed, so he's probably just chilling. Just hanging out, just seeing. Yeah, knight c6 is, well, it's a nice move.
You know what, though? Here's the thing. The longer Scott thinks about it, the more I think he hasn't seen it. Right? And a lot of times, and this has happened to me too, like there's some knockout blow, and actually I think there's a true tactical thing about it. It's like, you might see it if you think for a long time. But a lot of times these moves, if you don't see it right away, you might not see it because your mind is trapped going down the rabbit hole of like knight takes c3 and queen takes c3 and all this other extraneous stuff that is obviously not even close to as annihilating as knight c6 is.
Hey, we got a raid from Giraffe Chess. Welcome in. Right. Thanks for the raid. Okay. Rude.
Holy moly. You know, Shock Masteo Pirate King, they're doing this thing. We see it as every week where they play super fast.
Oh yeah, they're in the end game. They're like done.
They're in the end game, man. I don't know. Well, okay, let's pull this up. I don't know what. They play so fast. So fast. And white is up a pawn. We're going to check it out here. All right, so let's go to where we left it. We left it like right on here.
No, absolutely, Cloudset. It is really difficult to slow down when playing online. When I played a classical tournament a few weeks ago that was G60, I knew it would be hard. So what I tried to do mentally was I pretended like it was like an actual like weekend tournament. Like I was a little nervous about it. I like woke up, like had everything ready, make sure I had like nothing on my mind, like nothing in the schedule that day, and just like try to like focus on the games, and that helped. But yeah, playing 90 plus 30, it's not really like a full-on tournament. You haven't like joined or like paid an entry fee or anything. It's a little bit harder to take it as seriously as you would like a classical tournament game. Yeah, I think these players need to at least pretend to spend time. That would definitely make me a lot happier, and we would give them a lot more benefit of the doubt if they make mistakes, because it's like, okay, you spent your time on it, you know, you didn't you didn't find something, you know, it happens, but at least like you put your full effort in.
Like, for example, let's go back to this position here. White is obviously much better. And what I want to stress about this position is that the knight on d6 is actually, even despite its centralized looking self, it is not that great of a piece. And white then commits to knight b5 in the spirit of simplification. And I feel like this is close. Like, whether or not white wins this is not necessarily clear. Whereas in this position, white's move, I feel pretty good about saying that this is simply winning because there's no counterplay for that. There's no counterplay. If white just brings his king, for example, right? So maybe this is winning. But now the king has a jump because, for one, it can travel through the d6 square. And obviously, white, I don't think white can lose. White would have to try hard to lose. But in any case, I'm not sure this is winning because the activity of the black king.
Hey, Pasfon, thanks for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. That's awesome.
All right, yeah.
So many emotes, guys.
Oh, we have things to talk about. Give me an emote update. I need an emote update.
Well, you know, we haven't been given any new emote slots. Actually, not sure why. It used to be like every 15 or so, but then we got to like 80 subs, and then we got to 85, and then they didn't. No more slots. It was weird. So we have some slots for people who donate a certain level of bits. So if you donate like 1,000 bits, you'll get access to like an emote. If you donate like 10,000, so we can fill those up. But those are pretty exclusive. I think the sub bits or the sub emotes are the fun ones. The ones like, okay, you sub to the channel, you get all of our emotes, and then you can spam those in other channels and so on. I love the idea of a Sunday Night Fights emote. That's definitely gonna happen.
Let's do it. Add it. Yeah, maybe we'll get another one.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. 750. And yeah, earlier Chompton was saying one thing you can do is set up a board to play online. I think we talked about this before. Yeah, I think that's the play. The best thing to do is to actually have the game going on your phone so that you have no instinct to like look at your phone for 2 hours.
Right.
Set it up on a physical board, so you'll actually just want to use the board. You won't want to use you won't have the computer, and then you just input your moves on the phone.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about it. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, welcome Giraffe Chess. Good to have you. Thanks again for rating. We are all just about just getting better at chess, getting better at life in the meantime.
How are you getting better at life, Chris? Let's hear it.
I'm trying to improve. You know, I got the puzzle grind 45-day challenge.
No, you said at life. I wanted to hear the life. I wanted to hear I'm getting better at life. I thought that was interesting. So, yeah, tell us about the life.
Let's see. I've been reading some books. Latest life book is Daring Greatly, Brene Brown, on how the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. She actually has some really good TED Talks.
Okay.
So this is just about, I don't know, learning to be more expressive. Yeah, I'm trying to work out more. You know, wish I could do a 45-day gym challenge. That would be fun. Yeah, trying to work on my mindfulness always.
Cool.
Actually,
they have played so fast. Oh my god! I was like, oh, we'll just wait a little while and this end game will like keep going. No, they're still blazing away on this thing, on these big questions.
There was one move where Pirate King spent almost 7 minutes on this move B4 on move 28, and could have been.
It's not wrong-headed to play B4. Actually, B4 b4 looks like a good move because he covers all the squares.
Yeah, he creates this actually really nice barrier. Like the bishop comes back to c4, and then the king has no entry squares. That's pretty cool. But is this one of those positions where black could be fast enough? Like if black had played king d6 here, I guess white can ignore it as it is. Actually, just wait.
Yeah, he just brings his own king.
And if black goes bishop d7, is this too slow?
Or you just go back to like e2 or something, or ace. Let's go a6.
Uh-huh. Oh, you just wait. Oh, so you're just covering this way.
Yeah. Now, okay, just as an example, maybe a6 is even a little bit inaccurate. I'm kind of down. See, this is where it could get tricky.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm sure white can improve on that, but that's an example of the kind of thing you want to work out when you play b4. Yeah. And dude played bishop b6 quickly. He is going for king c7. King b6 did happen. And now the bishop is going to have to work harder to get to b5. And as far as I can tell, that is the only way to get counterplay. And all white has to do is play here and then walk the dog. Game over.
Yeah, it looks very healthy for white. Absolutely. Archmage, please post your link in the Discord if you don't mind. Maybe like the ladder channel or general channel. You could tag me or tag Jesse.
And if anybody knows how to get the moves from an ongoing League Chess game, that would be appreciated. It seems like it's gotta be possible. But maybe there is a trick. Just, I hovered over one of their names and this thing popped up. Watch chat.
Pass pawn, I'm actually not sure. Like, because there used to be a list I could just look at and it would say like, okay, 80 emote or 80 subs, 100 subs, you get an extra emote. But when I checked last time, like there was, it like usually tells me like, oh, you need to get to this level before you unlock another emote slot. And then there's nothing listed there. So honestly, not sure. I have to look into it. Oh no, Jesse, bad news.
My student played 97.
Knight d7. Well, it kind of works also, right? Is there...
Oh, I thought you was talking about the other student who's playing the King's Indian structure. Let's look at that. Oh, Knight d7. Maybe it still works. It's far less forcing because, for example, the guy can play Queen c4 now.
Oh, we can bail out. That's true.
It's weird. Like if you see Knight d7, why wouldn't you then play Knight c6? Well, let's consider it. So here I'll pull.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a good chance. Like, I don't know. Knight c6 to me is definitely not like instant move, and sometimes like you know you don't see it, you just don't see it.
I mean, maybe we're wrong because it seems like if you see Knight d7 giving up the rook, why wouldn't you see Knight c6?
I don't know. I think there's lots of blind spots like that. Like, you know, you just see one move on the diagonal, but then you don't see the other one for whatever reason. It's possible. I mean, maybe he missed Queen c4. He just doesn't see it. So he's just expecting Queen takes a8, and that's what he was calculating.
Huh. I still don't see a difference between that position and the one with knight c6, but all right, yeah. Now, at the least, this is the kind of thing that maybe it's still technically winning for black, but the other one was like lights out, and this one, after queen c4, I think you have to work a little bit still.
Yeah, well, queen c4, I mean, definitely looks like black is still very much better. I mean,
well, yeah, absolutely, but it's not lights out, right? Because you wouldn't get something like this.
yeah, definitely, yeah, a lot of chess here.
Oh wait, I got one here. Wait a second. So queen c4. Now, officially, let's just get a body count. We are up. We're down a piece. I was just seeing if we could do anything fancy here. I don't know. I was looking at rook d5 as being more fancy. You know, this is so much more complicated than knight c6. Wait a second, Ghost. I just want to give my student the benefit of the doubt for a second.
Sure.
Are we missing something with knight c6? I just don't see it. I can't even imagine what it would be.
No, I really don't. I mean, someone said like there's some knight takes c6, knight takes e7 ideas, but I mean, you know, it doesn't. None of it really.
Check.
Yeah. So I think it's just speculation. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say actually. Sometimes someone, you know, it could be any number of details missed. Opening up Archmage's game. He just posted in the general chat.
And Vishnu, since you're watching, I think you're the guy who would know how to do it. How do you grab the PGM from an ongoing Lichess game? There's gotta be a way. There's gotta be a way.
Yeah. There's no way Lichess has a site this good and doesn't have an option. But yeah, for a live game, it's weird. Maybe they're it's an anti-cheating thing, so not to make it easy for someone to quickly grab like the FEN of a position.
But they could make it impossible for them, but not for us, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what CloudSat means when he says Lichess has an API?
I do not. I know that's like not a very complicated. It's a very basic thing as far as I'm aware, because I see it all the time, but I have no idea what. Yeah. So now they're saying you can manually grab and update yourself. I have no idea how I would do that.
I mean, I think I just have to like. The bummer too is, okay, so I could like bring the moves over, but then when I copy paste the other games, that gets sucked away.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I have a trick. Okay, hold on.
API equals you can write a program to pull the PGN. Wow.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's true, actually. Like, oh, that makes sense now, because we have we have a Discord bot that tracks people's Lichess ratings. And that was programmed, I think, based on this API thing, where I guess some info is like publicly available, and so you can write a program, for instance, that goes to someone's profile and then looks up their rating, and that's kind of how the Discord bot works, and you can like assign belts based on that. We need an API guy in ChessDojo. I think that's what we're learning. We need someone to write us some applications.
Okay, yeah, I'm learning stuff. Dude, your student did not play queen c4. He played queen takes a8. Holy moly. And now we're in basically the same living nightmare we were before with queen c3 and queen a1.
Yeah, now we're in trouble. Let me try to figure out what... Is there something he didn't like about queen c4? Maybe he just didn't...
Your student's going down, buddy. She's going down. It's over. No, I mean you gotta. I don't know. I actually there's several moves here I just don't get. I don't understand. Blunder, counter blunder. Yes, yeah. Oh, Nazguli's might help us out with the API and that kind of thing.
Sweet. Actually, so far we haven't been able to get a bot that can track chess.com ratings. So that's something that is a project, yeah, we would love help with. Just the bot that can, someone gives the bot their chess.com username, it looks up their chess.com profile, finds their peak rating, which is always like on the public profile, peak blitz rating or whatever, and then tracks that measurement and awards them a Discord belt. If we can do that with chess.com, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Let me share this. Let me share this game that's gone on with the student here. And it's kind of interesting too because there's some, let's call it King's Indian questions.
Yeah, Archmage, we have it open.
Oh, cool. All right.
You're good.
So it went like this. I might be getting the move order wrong, but in general, this is what happened. Oh God! It's funny. You know what I did? I did let's call it a Freudian slip, because I was like, "This is the way White should play," and I was just running through the moves. But no, this is not the way it happened. Come on, Fred. It went like this. Castles, like the guy played E3 somehow. Now I'm getting confused.
Oh. See,
now I'm getting confused. All right, so wait a second. Yeah, it was totally weird.
No knight f3.
I blew this already. Yeah.
Hey, so, move to.
I'm trying. I'm really trying. It went like this. Bishop G2, castles like D3, D6, and now E3. Can that be true? What happened? Yeah, that's what actually happened. E3, E5, knight E2. Okay, so here we go. And how do you? Let's talk about this position a little bit from a King's Indian perspective. My student played C6, which can't be terrible.
Well, it reminds me of that game we saw with Strong Chess playing black.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was a very, and I think in that game White played like super early rook b1, like not even touching the center pawns, and like b4, b5. But I've always felt like the c6 structure feels good against the bishop in some cases, but sometimes it just gives White this very easy hook to attack with b5, and so it sometimes doesn't work out. So I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I think it's always playable, especially at this level. I think it's very legitimate, but personally, I might play knight c6 here.
Good, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Okay, so c6, but then the guy lost time. Oh man, if you come on my monthly show and you lose some time, you're in big trouble. I'll chastise you really bad. I'm gonna do that video this week. That's obviously bad news. To play e4.
Yeah, so now this is just like a theoretical position. Botvinnik attack, White is down a tempo. I think instead of knight h5, I think Black should go for the plan with a6 here and b5. I think this is just easy way, especially when White puts the bishop on g2, to just get some active counterplay.
Now, that being said, I told my student that if he was in doubt, this is what he's doing. If he was in doubt, just play f5.
That's fine. You're gonna love White's next move.
Oh, yeah, I haven't even seen it yet. Okay. So, d4. All right. D4. It's funny. I was talking about the tempo all the time, but it's when you see f5 coming at you, it's not the dumbest thing to do.
Well, yeah. Now you wanted a King's Indian, you got one.
So now we're assuming Black should play knight d7.
I think knight d7 is a move. Yeah, I feel like no, d4 does make a lot of sense. I just thought you would feel funny about it.
Yeah. What are tempi anyway? Classes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch. Actually, there was a show I used to do on the channel called Play the Sensei, where I would just play people in the dojo. I think we'll definitely bring that back. That should be a weekly show, in my opinion, where we just play people, maybe play subs or something, or people who redeem the dojo gold that you get for watching the channel. Yeah, that is definitely it. The hard part is always just coming up with a good regular weekly time that we can stick to and make it consistent. But for sure. I also want to do a simul. People love simuls. And I'd be happy to do. I've done a couple like clock simuls, like 45-30 or so. And then like maybe 20 or 30 boards. And those get real hectic.
Well, it's looking bad for a lot of these people over here. Your students getting roasted.
Yeah, let's see, is any hope?
No, there's no.
So knight takes d7, rook takes d7.
We're basically up a rook is black, and your queen is up black, and we're threatening. It's all over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't take that much joy. But you had the other student who beat Scott. It was the young kid who's your student, and that was the
That's true.
E5 game.
NJB.
Yeah, Scott got crushed on it, yeah. So
Yeah.
Get revenge for that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually someone suggested we have a student battle. I'm definitely all for that. I actually have, so in the Squire round robin, I think I have 3 students playing in that one. Which is cool because no one has any tournaments to play, and I want them to be like taking chess seriously. So this was actually a perfect opportunity. Like here's like some tournament time controls. I know all the players are serious. Actually, some of my students are now going to be like playing each other, and that'll be really interesting to see because, you know, they live all over the place and don't know each other. But actually what we want to do in the dojo is basically convert the training groups into our own personal, what would be the correct term? Entourage? No. Disciples, I guess. A team of our own disciples. Yeah, so right now, another thing we should talk about. Yesterday, actually, I did a stream with Coach Quirked, who you know from the Warrior group.
Right.
And we did team battle. Excuse me. Because he's been coaching a team, and Gino also been coaching a team. And we had a team match that they played against each other. And that was a lot of fun. So we got to get more teams in the dojo. I want my own team. Jesse gets a team. David gets a team. And then we do battle.
We are talking about this Spidler losing the simul, and one of the things that was just amazingly disturbing is that people are cheating in simuls, and this is not it's clear from those 10 losses in 17 games that he was being cheated on. And there was also recently there was another simul where some other famous GM lost an incredible number of games where they were obviously cheating against this guy.
Yeah.
It's just incredible that people would cheat.
Well, I actually didn't hear about the Spidler thing. I guess it's a problem because he's streaming now and he's really famous. So people, you know, if you beat him on camera, it's like kind of like a thing. So he has a higher target on his back than like, you know, someone like me. I don't know. Maybe people have cheated against me, but like no one cares if I lose a game. So, but Spidler, like, yeah, I can. And in Chess24, they sometimes have that issue in the Banter Blitz. There's this funny video on YouTube where Jan Gustafsson is playing someone who's like not that high rated, but just just blows him off the board with these insane tactics. And
Right.
he's just like sitting there taking it like but I gotta say, I love the videos that Chessbra actually has been putting out, because sometimes Eric will play people and they have like these like ratings that are like 900, and then they're just like crushing him in the game, just like, wow, they're playing really well. And then by the end of these games, their account just like immediately gets shut down. It's like, it doesn't even they got like 2 seconds of freedom, and then that's it. So those are really great.
Tell us what kind of job are you interviewing for? What is it? What would the new Vishnu be? Where would it be? You got this new job.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Vishnu. He had a run of like being on my monthly show for submitting a game with annotations for, I think, years. I think it was literally years, and yeah, he was off of it because of this job. So this job it better be good, because it's interfering with his chess.
Interfering with your passion. Oh, we got a result.
We got a result.
Pirate King has converted.
Oh man, my student just played F5 like he doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care at all. So this is what happened, buddy, with D4 over here, and just my student was like, screw it, F5.
Now I'm not sure about F5. I usually wait for white to play D5.
Definitely the conventional wisdom, but this is the kind of thing where it might not be that bad, but it feels positionally funky to do this. But it might not be that bad, It might not. Because the problem with knight d7 was that you are in the way of things a little bit. And f5 does give black some earnest questions, white some earnest questions about what to do next. And I'm assuming he should play d, e, d, e, queen d8, rook d8, bishop d5, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a small advantage for white or something like that. I'm not sure totally, but that's what it looks like.
I've always been a big fan of the old EF and F4 ideas, or these structures, I guess.
Yeah, well, but this one, I don't know. You play E4 and black's not. I think black's worse. Black's okay. You're giving me the bishop. You're giving me that bishop.
I don't know. I've suffered here as black sometimes. Maybe this one is fine. This is just usually like, I don't know. I feel like this is often a safe way for white to handle things.
And he could still hold that in reserve too. Like you could do this.
Yeah, you could start with bishop g5.
Bishop g5 and see what the guy does.
Yeah.
Just go from there. You're in no hurry, I think, to play this thing. I don't think so. Yeah. Man, so actually at some point, Kosti, maybe you could pull up the table, because I think with Shockmastale losing, he was like winning the tournament, and people were just like, I'm giving up because Shockmastale's question is solved. But with Pirate King winning this thing, I think it opens the door for somebody else to win the tournament.
Does it blow open the tournament? Let's see. Do I have a scene for this? I'm not going to have a scene for it. I can quickly put it up, actually. It won't look great, but it will be good enough. And we'll take a look at the current cross table. Mitch is on here. And Pirate King.
Yeah, I think Mitch is the big benefactor. That's why he's watching. He's not watching for us. He's watching to see this result here.
Yeah, well, he's on 7 out of 9. Oh, I see what's going on here. Right, Shot is the only guy who can catch up to him. 2 wins.
Oh, so he's still got to play SC2. Shocker has to play SC2. And well, no, it's over, right?
It's over, yeah, because this game hasn't been counted yet. So this will be 5.5 out of 8.
Well, congratulations, Mitch, dude. Congratulations, man.
Wow.
Oh, well, this brings us to the many things we have to discuss. Has the new tournament started?
No, we got a sign up going. We got a bunch of players interested in joining the next round of round robins, but we haven't formed any groups yet. I think probably by next week we should be starting them. I also have a masters group that I want to get started, but I need a couple more masters for that. I think we only have like
check this out. This
3.
is what I'm gonna say. I think Mitch gets, if he wants it, dude. I think Mitch deserves, by winning this tournament,
Wild card
a
spot.
shot at the Master. Oh yeah.
Wild card.
Oh, you win this tournament, Warrior Group 1, you get the wild card spot for the Master tournament.
Yeah,
you
that's
got
fair.
it, right?
That's how they do it. You win Aeroflot, you get into Dortmund.
Oh yeah. This is like Mike on Zay and stuff over here.
Yeah. What do you say, Mitch? Do you want a spot in an all masters round robin? I think it's easy yes.
I don't know. He's thinking about it. He's like going back. He's thinking about it. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't go 0 out of 9. Pretty sure.
No, I mean there were some masters and well, I don't know about this one, but I mean Quirked is almost 2200. SC2 is pretty high. I mean Bubba's pretty high.
Yeah.
So Joffrey. No, there are some very decent players in this one.
So in terms of the other one, I assume we have strong chess and weak chess.
Yeah, the other one is strong chess, weak chess. A couple other folks. Let's see. Actually, I can bring it up here. Nicholas Eric Blazin Jr.
Oh, Mitch, are you kidding me? They won't take offense. You earned your spot. They just like got in there. You earned it, buddy. That was a real thing. Oh man, my student is mating your student. Mating. Yes.
What's happening?
Scott's doing it, man. The perk.
Yeah, that looks like mate.
That looks like mate. The perk is an equal opening. Look at that. 20 moves. Bam. Well.
Yeah, tough one. I mean, it's really hard for White. I'm pretty sure he didn't know what he was doing at all in the opening, and when you go like DC5 takes on D6, if you're not sure you can get away with that, it can really backfire. So
Scott had a rating back in the day, I think around like an A-level player, and then job, career, family, all that stuff. He's from the Pitcher generation, and now he's getting back into it. And hard to say exactly where he's at now. 1600, some 1500, something like that. But he's improving, and like I said, I think if he could, this actually applies to me as well. The real challenge for us new guys is just to make sure we don't miss the basic things like Queen D5, right? Like Knight C6, Queen C4. Those are the things that we have to get right, and that's his challenge going forward. And I think if he manages to do that, I don't have any doubt that he could reach, at least go back to being an A player.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you can learn to just kind of play just based on understanding and principle. I think you could get to a really decent level just based on that alone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, NM
Hi,
Yang.
NM Yang, yeah.
Good to see you. Hey, Knights Tour. When is supposed to qualify for an old guy? Man, compared to some players, I'm already there. Like Christopher Yu and Abi Mishra. I mean, those kids are like this kid Tani, who's like just a monster in Puzzle Rush. My God, I'm not long for the chess world. I think my time has been running out.
Well, see, now the good news for me is I got just less than 2 years, and I get to play in the over 50, buddy.
Nice.
I've got a golden rainbow waiting for me. You've got a long wait before you enter that paradise, my friend.
Yeah, we got to get you ready for that. Get you prepped up, some theory against the.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be. It'll be great because I'll be against all those old Russian guys that I had to face when I was a kid. It'll be like a rematch of back in the day. It's gonna be some Rocky training stuff going on. Very serious business. Yeah.
Wow, that'll be fun.
Masters Trash Mitch Kerman. Oh man. It's fun.
About 6, Mitch. I think 5 or 6. I think 6 is a good number.
Now, Kosti, we had another person give us a game, and he sent it to you. Did you get it or something? Because I don't.
Oh yeah, I opened it up. It was in the general chat in Discord.
Oh, okay.
It was just like a Elite Chess link.
Oh, it was another Elite Chess link. We need that API stuff.
Yeah. I can put the game on the board. I think he is playing white. This was Archmage. And, his opponent hit him with the old F5. And here white just played D3, which I don't like it. I think it's playing scared. Just take the pawn on E5. You know, white is doing well here. If they take on E4, you have Queen H5 check, and you're winning. If they go Queen F6, you just go D4. You take this pawn, you go Knight C3, D6, you drop back. And you're just doing great. You can go Bishop E2 here, castles, F3, just open up the position. But, okay, we had D3, and then black gets everything they want, basically. I mean, they just get to develop freely, and they have, like, this free, I guess, Schliemann, reverse King's Gambit, whatever you want to call it, type position. Bishop takes F6, Queen takes F6, Bishop E2.
Oh, I think he's getting a great position. Look at this thing. Oh yeah, he's doing fantastic.
Yeah. So I think white needs to play a lot less timidly in the opening.
F4 really... and F4 is just like, I'm gonna mate you. That's what F4 is.
Yeah. That's a King's Indian move. Yeah, is F5 a bit unsound in 2020? Yeah, come on guys, it's 2020. Why are we still playing F5? Latvian Gambit. Okay, we got this.
We should say that Bishop E6 was ambitious in the sense that you could have just played A4 and everything would have been shut down.
Yeah, that was the move.
There's nothing at all. I still like black's position a lot, but now he's going to have to think a little bit.
Well, B4, Bishop A7, and then Knight takes A5 is on the board.
So I guess we're assuming like Knight A5, G5 or something.
That would be, yeah, I think that would be my intention. Or even just G5.
You know, it's not 100% easy though, because white's, I assume, can play Knight D2, and then you have to worry about Bishop G4 and stuff. So it's not 100%.
No, I think it's bad. I think, let's say...
No, I agree with you. It should be some way, but it's not going to be totally simple.
Well, let's just say Queen G6.
Alright, Bishop G4.
And then just take in H5.
Yeah, that's toast. I'm just getting raged upon.
I mean, you could play Bishop H5 as white to make it harder, but I was thinking, like, even if we lose this tempo and go Queen G6, it still doesn't look so nice.
No, the bishop on A7 is a real slayer, and you know, you can just imagine how great a King's Indian player feels by having the bishop on A7 instead of G7. right? What a difference. And white has no counterplay, right? I don't know. So, looks bad.
14114. Yeah, I can't see the link you posted. Maybe you can send it to me on Discord. And then is that to download a PGN of a live game? Maybe someone has developed this tool that we need already, which actually does seem possible.
Oh man, my student's game is lit up. It's lit up.
Oh, F4.
It's lit up.
Wow. That cannot be good for white.
White has basically said, I'm comfortable in making so many different pawn moves. To be clear, he moved both the E pawn and the D pawn twice to get to their current positions. But amazingly, it's not over yet. Usually when you do that, it's over. So, right, F4 is, let's say something like informed by the fear of black playing F4, I guess. But still, I don't know.
Well, thanks 14114. I'll check it out. Might have a solution for the future.
So let me ask you something. There's all kinds of things I think you want to talk about what happened in the last week, but one thing I could not figure out. I tried to research it a little bit today. As far as I can tell, either no one knows or only Ghost knows. Why did I can never pronounce his name? Why did Agata Mator's YouTube channel get pulled?
You know, I honestly have no idea. I mean, his channel didn't get pulled. His video with Hikaru for some reason was taken down. No, I honestly have no idea why. I don't. Seemed just like a normal chess interview. I don't know if anyone has any insights. I'd be curious, but
Scott, we definitely were following your game. Beautiful game. You crushed him. That was amazing. Totally amazing.
Oh, Neil Bruce says music. Yeah, YouTube can be strict on the music.
But it was like, okay, maybe.
It could be a problem, I mean, because he has such a big channel, so if he messes up a copyright, then it's a lot of thousands of people listening to a song for free, and we can't have that. We can't have that.
I'm just going to bask. I'm going to let Scott bask in the glory of this final position that he got here. Yeah. Right, Scott, sometimes what happens is we start with a board and then we copy and paste the PGN from a different board into it, so doesn't always match. And that's actually something, I don't know if there's an easy fix to that. It seems like there should be, but I don't know if it's... You know what I'm talking about, right, Wilson?
Yeah, I don't know of an easy way. Yeah, it's hard to even like edit the names for some reason.
Oh, I know how to edit the names, and right, we were pulling in a game from Lead Chess, which is why it did not automatically do it.
Yeah, I just meant like, yeah, if we were just looking at like a different position, it would still have their names, and it would be nice to just like change that to like white and black or something.
We have 2 games on Lead Chess going now. Well, now it's fully annoying because we have 2 games on Lead Chess. It's very hard to follow. Or, well, we could just, you could do a capture from Lead Chess, I guess. I don't know.
Well, actually, let me, Chess Comet was asking about their game. That's Pirate King. Actually, we did have some comments on this game, so maybe we could just quickly put it in. My main thing for you, okay, number one, both of you guys played so fast.
But you knew we were going to say that. You knew we were going to say that.
That it's just like, I mean, I think the quality of the moves was definitely decent. It just feels like there's always stuff to think about, and so you're risking a lot. one position where I do think white made a mistake was here in the opening. I think d takes c5 is too early. I don't think there's any reason to do this and kind of free black's hand to be able to play d4 at some point or knight d4. I think rook c1 should be the move here.
And also, I want to say my intuition is that bishop f5 is weird, and e6 is probably also weird.
Yeah, from black's point of view, there might be better setups here, like bishop g4, or even just bishop e6, I think is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, bishop g4 I like right there. In fact, I believe in black's position after bishop g4.
Yeah, actually, this one poses some real problems because black might be threatening to just take.
Yeah.
This might be one of the reasons I like e3, so we can just go bishop e2 here, and then we would be solid. But so yeah, b6 I'm not sure about, but yeah, at this point, definitely rook c1. You just line this up, and you can even play knight a4. I mean, from white's point of view, I think we're always hoping for black to take this one, because either we take immediately, or maybe we can play like knight b5 also might be a nice way to recapture, and all of our pieces are just super well coordinated. You know, this knight goes here, we fight for the c6 square. Yeah, here b6 really hurts black actually, because c6 ends up kind of weak.
Oh, the video with Naka got restored. Huh.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, so after knight a4, black now needs to think deeply about what's going on, and only play knight e4 if he's got an answer to knight e2, because white just simply wants to trade on the stone. And we didn't know exactly. We didn't have we didn't study it exactly to say, okay, this is what black should do. But in general, both of us believe in this position for black, because as long as black doesn't have his center somehow drop off, in general, this position is going to be good for black, because the central pawns will dominate the white minor pieces. So that's a dogmatic take, but I think in general it's kind of true.
Yeah. But okay, I like rook c1. I like knight d2 here. I think f4 worked out. I wasn't sure at first, but I mean,
yeah, this is fine.
Very, very forcing, and yeah, now this was good for white. Let's see, Jesse, do we have any thoughts on the technique here?
One more thought. Yes, so knight c3, and let's first say black should think about not playing f5, but even though it's not, but we're really looking at it from white's point of view, right? Mm-hmm. So in this position, you want to be sure, and maybe you were, and that's, I guess, it was just it happened so fast that I was like, oh man, you want to be sure that this actually is winning.
Yeah, b4 was the long think here.
Yeah.
So Pirate King, was b4 a real think, or were you just like away from the board, and then when you came back, you just blitzed out?
It was a good move. He probably thought. But let me just say, because one of the things I want to stress is the knight on d6 is dominated. You don't have to do anything here, and you do need to fix your king. Your king needs to be brought in. But if it's true, right, that this is winning, then by all means.
Right.
And b4 was a good move. I just wonder about this. First of all, let me try king e6. All right, Chris. So can you take me out easily here?
Well,
maybe you just
actually, I am a little confused why white can't go. Let's say put the bishop on c4, and then just go a3.
Okay, that's interesting, because that was my original thought as to what he was going to do. But his plan, kind of maybe works better anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I like b4 a lot. I think it worked out.
I was just
really
saying,
well.
If he was going to do the b4 plan, is it different if I play king e6? Maybe it isn't. But let's just try this again, just to see if there was some way for black to get play. Bishop e6 felt inaccurate. Like, could I have played bishop? How does the best way to do this? Let me try this one, king here. Let's just try king f2. You can take it back if you want.
On bishop d7, Dr. Mad, we were thinking white just goes bishop a6, and then it's still hard for black to get in.
I'm not sure about this either, because you just go back, and then it's not clear. You need to force. So basically, the idea for black is somehow to set up an exchange of bishops while this king is still sitting out. Right? So king a7, b4. Just see if this. Let me just see if. First of all, I'm still upset. I'm still upset at this. This king e7.
Wait, why is that? What's the difference here?
I'm just saying, like, black. If black has a chance, it's like in this moment he has to think deeply about what is going on. Like, maybe this looks weird, but maybe bishop e6. So let's just run through a couple of easy variations just to see if it works. That's certainly the counterplay we didn't want to see, right?
I'm not sure if it's such a big deal, to be honest. Like, okay, let's just try bishop back. And then go here. And
how are you going to win this one?
Well, I was thinking like here.
King c3. Okay, good. That's a good try.
And then bishop c4.
And this is, you're pushing your luck here because my king is active.
That's true.
I'm coming in too here. I don't know if you wanted this. No, white can't presume that this is winning. No way. No way. I'm going over here, and I don't even know who's better. Right?
Yeah. I mean.
So anyway, let's try this bishop e6 again. The question is there some clear way for white to win? Let me just check the other obvious. It would be king f2, king e7, bishop c4. I don't think white is in time.
Nope.
No, not in time, right? So bishop e6 would be a move to paralyze these guys, then to quickly get in. I don't see another move besides king f2, king e7. You could think about some weird thing like a3, or excuse me, bishop a4 and a3.
Right.
Maybe just to like hold it together while the king, the white king gets in. Maybe.
So here, and here.
Yeah, there, and then.
Looks fine actually. Just king comes here.
Say a5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're just gonna put no a5. You just put the king on c3. Okay, good. I think that's an important thing to see is that on bishop e6, at the minimum, white can later set up that fortress with that to prevent the counter.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice one.
So let me try king e7 again. Or king e6. I was never sure. Anyways, right. So it looks like I don't see an immediate win. This is the kind of position I can stare at for hours trying to figure out if there's some way. It is, of course, a bummer for black that these pawns are on the wrong square. And one of the things I didn't see, wasn't following too intently, but one of the things that I loved about what Pirate King did is that he eventually got second weakness over here, and that's exactly what he should be looking for. Totally, that is textbook.
Yeah, I was gonna say final position. It's like Averbach, Furman, 1955.
That's right. The pawns will fall like ripe apples. You gotta say something like that.
Yeah. We gotta get back to this King's Indian.
Okay.
This one look like fun. So we had,
Oh my god.
once again, C4.
This is gonna be hard to remember. Let's see if you can do it.
Oh, I have the game.
Okay. Did you figure out how to do it? Was there crazy API technology at work?
No, someone sent me something, but I gotta look into it and be a whole thing. But well, there haven't been too many moves in this game. D4, F5, F4.
I find these kinds of moves very hard to remember because they're pretty illogical. Okay, so critical position for black. He played EF. I don't know. My student, by the way, even though he's a kid, does get into hectic time pressure. That is one of his major problems.
I
So
do
you-
like EF4
right.
in general to open up the bishop like this.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it has to be kind of, in the right moment. Here, like ED4 also makes sense because there's like Queen B6 and.
Oh, maybe he has a brutalistic idea here. Hold on, maybe he's got it all figured out. So he's saying you have to take this way.
Yeah, Knight F4 happened. Knight F4, Bishop F4 is on the board.
And now maybe that's his intention.
I did this once actually in a game, like this exact sequence.
And the
Except it
bishop-
was even better because white didn't have a pawn on G3. So
But the pawn on G3, I don't think is going to help white. See, because the bishop has no great squares. In fact, it's pretty brutal. I mean, maybe you got to do this nasty thing, but then here.
oh, we got G5 on the board. Nice.
Nice. He's playing some man chess here, buddy.
Wow.
That's a man's move right there.
That's good. Maybe it's his opening then. King's Indian.
Well, he's learning. He's learning. It's funny how I taught him. I did not teach him any theoret. He's got other things going on. Like he's a baseball fiend and stuff. He's a kid. He's got other things going on in his life. But we didn't do any theory. We just looked at Kasparov games. That's all we did. So I'm hoping he's channeling the violence of those games. G5, very good, especially on a practical level. I'm assuming Bishop E3 is the only move, right?
Feels like. Yeah, I never really got this for black, but one thing I love about the King's Indian is that, people always wonder, like, well, aren't you weakening your own king? But honestly, like, you put this king on H8, bishop on G7, pawn on H7, like, it's safe. There's not a lot white can do
That's
here.
black's side of the board, my friend.
Yeah.
He's toast. And let's say some obvious things. The knight on C3 is pretty miserable. The bishop on G2 is miserable. This looks terrible to me for white. And black needs to find a plan here, but I like it a lot. I think there's more than one move here for black. The simple move would just be knight d7, but you can think about c5, you can think about other things too.
Well, how about F3 and Queen F6?
Well, there you go, Costa. There you go.
Yeah.
The thing with F3 is white will be forced to play bishop F1. And of course, that's also good for black, but you will have it will be more difficult to open the position. That position was great.
But yeah, who doesn't want to play this position?
Who doesn't want that position?
Yeah. Although sometimes King's Gambit players will give this to black on purpose because they get their knight to H4.
Well, right. David Proust, dude, he loves this kind of stuff. He's like, oh, goody, I love to play the King's Gambit. Yeah.
But there it kind of makes sense. Like white kind of just like castles queenside and plays around the pawns. Here white is really far away from doing any of this.
And in addition to g4, of course, black could play knight d7, f6, and then knight g4. He's got a lot of moves.
Yeah. Maybe white shouldn't have spent 4 tempi getting his pawns to d4 and e4. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, white. Well, queen d3. You know, bishop h6. It's possible.
So Cloud Sat and Icy are giving, are saying maybe white's not so bad after this f3 thing that we've done. And I'm not sure. I honestly, I'm not in this position. If we go back just a second here, I'm certain that black is doing great here, and he has many different plans. And that f3 black is definitely better. But the problem, right, is you are closing the position down. That's going to slow the game to where maybe white can survive.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's gonna start coming fast and furious. White did play bishop e3. That's what we got on the board.
Yeah, it just feels like white is really, really behind in development. I mean, I'm even thinking about I like f4, but just looking at it, like, what about f takes e4, and then if white recaptures, then just d5. Just like opening the e file, opening the d file.
Yeah, of course I don't like it. Because the knight is so bad on c3, and then he maybe has a dream or something. Okay, but I see what you're saying. So you're saying knight e4. No, I don't like it. Cause what are you doing? d5?
Yeah.
I don't know. Takes or something.
Yeah, pawn takes.
Well, what terrible thing? I feel like some terrible thing is about to happen.
I mean,
you're gonna do rook e8.
Rook e8?
E8. I'm not going to say I'm proud of it, but okay, cool, you do.
Queen a5 check?
Okay. I'm going to even this. Not, right. Well, this is what happens. I'm going to do this video about time. I felt actually, Coach, I don't know if you saw my thing then, but Chess, who is, a pretty interesting improver, I took him apart, dude. And I feel kind of bad about it. But I honestly hope that when me yelling about it, was about time. He was giving away time, kind of like the way this guy is giving away time. And I took him apart. It was like really evil. I was like really yelling at him. Don't give away the time.
It's too bad. I mean, Chess is a what do we call him? He's a chess dad. He's trying to improve. He has kids. He's part of the horde.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Vishnu, also a chess dad, was the one who he peered into my soul at some point, recognized me for what I am, namely a tempo fiend. That's what he called me, tempo fiend. And once he said that, I said, right, that's who I am. I'm a tempo fiend.
Yeah, I like squares. I mean, I like tempos, but I like squares more.
I like squares? Okay.
And a nice square? Oh my god. I would give white like 2 moves if they also have to play d5. You know what I mean?
True. Well, we had actually your variation actually speaks to that with your weird knight c6 move that you need to give a name to.
Yeah, the sloth.
The sloth. It's not a slow opening though. Someone's gonna die very soon. It can the sloth, I feel like, has a long life at the knight 3 because no one sees him. But people do see you when you play knight c6. Right?
Something else maybe. I don't know. It does have a lot of names already. The Nimzovich.
It's not the tango? It's not some kind of tango?
No, the tango is just d4, knight f6, c4, knight c6. The 2 knights tango. Which I guess I could play with d6 and it would be the same thing, but I think
Right.
when white starts with d4, then the King's Indian move order makes the most sense to me. We don't have
But
to
it's
mess
still
around.
the tango, what you're doing. You're doing like the accelerated tango.
The accelerated thing.
The tango accelerated.
Kind of. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But yeah, I should create a video on how to play that. I do like it, but yeah, I mean, it does require black to be like a prerequisite is that you play the King's Indian already, so you're okay with the transpositions and the general types of structures.
Yeah, you haven't done an opening vid yet, buddy. And you are the opening maestro. You wrote an opening book.
Well, yeah, it's hard. I guess I'm definitely kind of like a perfectionist. Like if I'm gonna do like an opening video, I'm just gonna want to like research it and really like make good recommendations. I don't want to suggest something and then like people play it and then they don't like it, or you know, whatever, it doesn't work out. Yeah, I just feel like it's a lot of work mainly, but I do believe in knight c6. I believe in it strongly enough that I'm like, okay, people need to know that this is an option, this is playable, and if you like the King's Indian and you don't know what to do against e4 for some reason, even though there's lots of other good options.
He took on f4, which I have to say just presumed was wrong.
Yeah,
because
no way.
you're opening up your business. Now, maybe in his dreams, what he's thinking of is that somehow he is going to be a maestro on the g file.
Right.
And I mean, my intuition is no, but okay, maybe, yeah. So your move f3 is even stronger now than it was before.
Yeah, but also, I mean, like queen g5 looks really tempting.
Queen g5. He wants rook g1.
That's true.
Tell this
Yeah.
from his. I was about to say from his facial
Bishop
demeanor or
f3,
something.
right. We can tell. We know. Yeah,
I think you can
f3.
play knight c6 against d4. There's all kinds of bad moves that you can play.
Yeah, I just think it's unnecessary. You know, d4 you can go knight f6 with the other knight.
Unnecessary.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, because e4 you can't go knight f6. You gotta deal with e5. So knight c6 doesn't really make sense. You know, in d4 you go knight f6. It's kind of logic to it.
I do think an animal name is appropriate because Sam Shankman said that hilarious thing about the animal names being the bad openings.
Yeah, that was important to me because the opening is probably not great, and so it should be named appropriately.
I created the flamingo with the hope of redeeming all of the zoological names. I don't know how good I did with that, but that was my hope. Yeah, the Briar, the Kalashnikov. French, I don't know. Maybe a little bit. I feel like the French players and King's Indian players usually aren't the same people.
Do mythical creatures count for Sam's rule? I think he's talking about the dragon. Yeah. I don't think Sam respects the dragon.
Are there other mythical creatures we should be aware of? I feel like... Man.
Oh, there's the Dracula Frankenstein variation.
I don't even know what that one is. Show me the Dracula Frankenstein.
That one, yeah, you've probably seen it. It's to go. I think it's wait, sorry. Knight c3, knight f6, bishop c4, take, queen h5.
Oh,
This one, knight d6, bishop b3. This whole thing.
oh, interesting. I have seen this, and I did not know it has a name. But
Yeah.
this is mildly legitimate.
I think David is a fan of this for both sides.
Uh-huh.
It's like both sides have a good position.
Right. Okay.
And no, there's actually, this one goes into like a crazy exchange sack like line almost by force. Right. I think knight b5
Oh my God, 95.
and like queen e7, something like this, and black just gives it away but gets some, I forget how it goes exactly. Maybe g6.
Right.
I don't remember, but something like that.
Now, let me just say a couple of things. Halloween Gambit is an amazing one, but not necessarily a mythical creature.
Right.
The thing where the French is very similar to the King's Indian is it is a mirror image of the King's Indian in terms of the structure. But where it ends up feeling so different is that the pawns point in the French toward the queen side, where the king usually is not. And the white's pawns point to our king, usually. And in the King's Indian, you have to spend more time to get your f5 break, but you do end up going for broke against the king. So it ends up being a totally different feel of an open. Also, we could talk forever about light squares and dark squares and all that other stuff. But I think the king thing is the most important feature of it.
You know what? I've got a theory. I have a theory that the secret to, or I should say the sign of understanding an opening is knowing when you're supposed to play that's kind of like counter to that opening style. Like all of the best French players that I've seen when I was studying the French, like found ways of making it dynamic with their like G5 ideas and their F6 breaks. And they're like all these like great like dynamic games, whereas the French is always considered like this strategic opening. And I think to be a really good King's Indian player, you do have to be very good in terms of strategic chess and understanding like which structures you can play and which exchanges are right in any kind of structure, and handling the positional side of things too. So you can't just be a madman and just be like tactics only or strategy only. I think that's how you get stuck. Like if you're just playing the French and you're always playing super solid, I think you're at some point you're just going to get stuck because you just be hitting that wall.
Right. Well, here we got this position, Gostia, and I will say that I did not approve of this DF, but white will at least make things a little worrisome with his rook g1 coming. And black needs to find a move here. It's not immediate, although black must be better. It is not immediately obvious to me what the frick he should do.
So one move that's always possible, now with rook g1 coming, I'm not sure, is but it's this move I've been thinking about like this whole game, is like c5. Like I keep looking.
I was thinking at that too. Yeah, I was even thinking something wild like c5, snip, and knight c6.
Yeah. Just
to say, yeah, I don't care about any of these demonstrations you're making, and I'm probably gonna play queen a5 and whatever you do next.
Oh, this is Scott's game.
No. This is Eric Honer's game.
No, I know, but this is what happened in Scott's game.
Oh, right.
Same
but
thing.
This is not an easy decision here, because the point about rook g1 is it will be a good defensive move, really, because it will always keep that amazing bishop in check on ideas like c5. Yeah,
so now I guess white could definitely consider rook g1 if black goes c5. But thinking, knight c6 anyway. Yeah, exactly.
But what I'm saying, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just a big deal that there's going to be, after, let's say, dc, let's say queen a5, I'm not threatening bishop takes c3.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know what I'm doing next move.
No, it could be really dangerous. It's also dangerous for white. For example, like bishop d4 not possible because knight takes, queen takes, f2. Kills it for white.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times black just goes king h8. You know, it's not unheard of to give up the g file in the King's Indian. Black just goes king g8 and hopes rook takes g7 never comes through.
So let's say this. I'm going to flip the board just because I'm prejudiced to my student. And by the way, this is not Pirate King and Shocking Snail. This is Eric Honer as black facing Axe 92, who is, I forgot what his name is in the tournament.
I'm actually not sure. This is 45. This might be a ladder game.
No, he's still finishing. I know my student's still finishing his tournament. He was really slow about it.
Oh, okay.
any case, this is a big moment. My student's got under 10 minutes left.
Excuse me.
And this is a moment where he has to find a plan. It's not easy for me to know. Like c5 that's the kind of thing that's very easy for me just sitting on my butt Sunday night to play. But that is very concrete, and yeah, I don't know. But right, this is a difficult moment for him.
Yeah, not easy. One interesting move. Maybe not actually. Bishop h6.
I don't like that.
But just d5, yeah, it could be a problem actually. Actually, d5, c5. I don't know.
The other just simple plan for black is just don't even think about it. Play knight d7. Kind of wait to see what the guy does, but then after knight d7, you have two ideas in your pocket. You have both knight f6 and c5. And like Costa, you're just playing for the square of e5.
Yeah, knight d7 does look.
Costa likes squares.
I like knight d7. Yeah, I like this e5 square.
And to be fair, c5 now, intending knight c6, is also a lot about that square. Yeah, I believe in black. But I can imagine this is pretty heavy. Well, this is why we watch. Okay, queen e7. I'm not a great fan. What is the idea? He wants to just play c5. Okay, queen e7. Well, no, because now after queen e7, when you play c5, you've got a fret about knight d5, right? I don't want to fret.
Well, not really. I mean, e4 is hanging, or are you saying white is just defending this one and then?
Well, let's say queen d2 first. Oh, and then you want this. Okay, that's possible. Let's say queen d2.
Well, c5.
Okay, so either. Okay, so let's say one. Either castles or rook d1. I'm not sure. Let's play castles now. That knight d5 is going to come with tempo. And it's not clear that the queen belongs on e7.
I'm fine with knight d5. It's the queen takes e4, bishop d3 that I'm really struggling with. That's the one that's like really annoying.
Well, I mean, white's getting all his stuff in, man. Like, okay, you would want to play knight c6. That would be the intention, right? And
yeah,
now white has the choice of dc and this knight d5, and arguably even the brutalistic, just simple rook g1 might have that move too. No, I don't like it. I don't like queen. I think queen e7 was a mistake. Now white is tanking after queen e7, so at least. Am I right, Ghosty? It just feels wrong, right? Queen e7.
I wouldn't say it feels wrong. I do like knight d7 more. I mean, queen e7, I see it all the time.
What do you mean you see it all the time? What do you mean you see it all the time?
No, I mean, there are so many King's Indian positions where black just plays queen e7. The queen just like is good on this square, especially in like the h3 lines. The queen often just ends up on e7. I don't know what it is about it.
Okay, so for example, maybe black could say after queen d2, he could say, "Look, I'm just playing over here. You do your castles thing, and then I can knight f6 or something." Maybe he's still better. Yeah, he'll definitely be better if he achieves knight d4 in any meaningful way.
Yeah. Knight g4, bishop h6. I just feel like white's position, yeah, it just feels flimsy, you know, like.
Oh my god, this guy gave up another tempo. He gave up another tempo, bro. He played, well, I guess it's not really giving it up. He played queen.
Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand.
just felt weird. Okay, I take it back. Not giving up a tempo. Maybe in my mind it was something like it kind of felt like queen d2, d3, but I felt right that the queen did not want to be on that light square, and it probably will lose a tempo if black ever does his c5, knight e5. Yeah, you're going to lose a tempo. You will lose a tempo.
Oh, I see. Well, Eric goes bishop h6.
Oh no!
I don't mind this move. I mean,
Let
what
me
does
tell you
white
why.
do?
Let me just tell you why I don't like it. It's true that queen d3 enabled this move, but the reason I don't, okay, maybe I'm going around it. What I don't like about it is that he hasn't fixed his stupid knight. I really want to fix the knight. And the bishop on g7 was also a good piece. So yes, it's true. The bishop on h6 looks good, but it's not a world breaker. Like you say, let's say rook g1.
Yeah.
King h8.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if I really want to bail, I can play king d1. I assume I have better move than that, but if I want to bail,
King d1, I mean, I don't know, knight a6.
yeah, so king d1, knight a6, a3.
I'm gonna go d5 really bad.
Yeah,
I feel like I can't, but I'll go knight c7.
No, at some point you should play d5 for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm playing for d5. Yeah.
Okay. But maybe king d1, not so hard. This is probably happening. So it did. It was rook g1 check.
g1's on the board.
King h8, I'm just going to assume. I don't see anything else.
Yeah.
And, he did it. And now it's what's good about this bishop h6 is you have to make a plan. I just want to say the knight on b8 is freaking me out. I'm going to predict that Axe is going to play rook g3. That's my prediction. I don't believe in that move because I don't think he should be sniffing pawns. But that's my prediction about what he does.
Makes sense. And I would go against rook g3. I would go full development. Knight a6 takes bishop g4.
Yeah, this should be great for black. You don't want to be taking that pawn. Just liberates the rook on f8.
Right.
Yeah. But that's my prediction about what he's going to do. He's thinking about it. Besides, it's a hard decision here after king h8. I don't like what black has done. I've said it 1,000 times. but it's true that it's not easy here.
How about d5 for white? Well, d5, the problem is it just gives away a lot of squares in the center, especially to black's knight can now...
Kostya was willing to pay a lot of shekels just to get you to play that.
Yeah, I guess here black doesn't even have to play c5. I was thinking c5 to cover this square, but it's not even necessary. Yeah.
If you were worried about bc and rook b1, you could play c5.
Right. No, I think it is tough for white. One move, probably don't have time for it, but could solve white's problems is like knight d1. But it feels very slow. I think just d5 probably is...
Or your knight d7, c5. One of those moves, as long as you, like you said, get a square. Knight d7, f6 is also good because the knight on c3 was talking to e4.
Right, bishop f5. Yeah, it's like...
Oh my god, bishop f5. Yeah.
Everything. So, this is very Naka-esque. I feel like Naka would love this position for black.
Oh, my student's gonna love to hear that.
Yeah.
Actually, another Naka move would be if bishop e3, we're playing f2, right? We might have better than f2, but
yeah, we just take on e3 first.
That's simpler. But the Naka move would have been to play f2.
Matt, I'll never forget watching this game between Conrad Holt and Nakamura in the U.S. Championship, And Conrad Hull is like one of the best H3 King's Indian players in the world, or at least he was a couple of years ago. He was like so well prepared, and he plays it against Naka, and like Naka's, I mean, he knew that King's Indian is coming, and like, man, Naka just destroyed him. Like 20 moves with black. I'm sure he put the queen on e7 at some point. I just remember. And he just like opened up his king. I mean, maybe White had like some forced win somewhere, but it was like so complicated. He just couldn't handle it, and just got blown off the board.
What happened to Conrad Holt? I haven't heard that kid's name in a long time.
Actually, last I heard, he got a job maybe at like Google or somewhere in Silicon Valley. So he might not. Yeah, he was playing tournaments in the Bay Area, so he's probably around my area. Neil Bruce is salty because you didn't like his Queen E7 move.
Well, Queen E7 here is working out pretty good.
We should mention White is actually really down on time. He's down to 3 minutes now. 45-second increment. He has played D5. So that's probably... I mean, it's hard. I mean, we didn't find anything actually satisfactory for White, so...
Yeah. But D5 is the end. It's truly the end after either C5 or knight D7. After knight D7, I was thinking maybe he had some big thoughts of survival with DC, BC, Rook D1, but I just want to stress I don't believe that at all. I think there's going to be more than one way for Black there. Caden Troft went on a mission for the Church of Latter-day Saints.
That's right.
And that was like 2 years. I'm going to assume it's around one now.
Yeah, he's back. I saw him online recently. I think he's been making some videos. I don't know if he's doing a lot of chess stuff, but pretty sure he has like a Facebook page you could follow where he posts updates. But yeah, he was another very strong player, especially when he was really young. I remember losing games to him, and I mean, he's very, very gifted player.
My student played C5, and this is maybe a point at which, even though I think knight D7 is probably technically better, that C5 really puts a terrible question to White, because now knight D7 E5 is going to hop in the oven there, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah,
it's really going to hurt, and so C5 just assures that things go smoothly.
I think it's totally acceptable here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's no reason to give White DC Rook D1 if we don't need to, because Bishop E3. It's just it's hard to challenge the bishop.
My students are doing well today.
Yeah.
My students are doing great, man.
It's paying off.
All that hard work I've been doing is paying off.
Starger asks how to find the correct push in a situation like this. You know what? I think it's all about the pieces. Jesse likes to say pawns are not people. And I think what he means is that any kind of pawn play you do engage in, the goal should be to open up your pieces as much as possible or create squares. In this case, we were thinking about black playing c5 themselves just to fight for the dark squares and to then get this nice e5 square for the knight.
Right, and so that's a good. And what Kostya said, it's funny, before we even got close to this position, Kostya was talking about being a square theme. And I feel like as a kid I was a square theme, and for sure the e5 square it's just so aesthetically beautiful here for black. We know that our knight is going to land on e5. There's no stopping this thing.
It's a crime not to highlight it.
Yeah. And so it's just a beautiful thing. And ultimately, though, it's about the pieces, because it means that your pieces are flowing through that square. And the knight on c3 really killed himself. The whole problem with queen e7 was at some point when we played c5, we had to worry about knight e5. And now we don't have to worry about it anything.
Okay, we got b4 on the board.
That's not.
It's not going to work, but you know what? White is busted. He has 2 minutes left. Yeah. Let him try stuff.
My student wanted to be really cool here. He would just play d6. I still want my knight. The problem, let's say, honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. I guess the trick with b4 that white could muddy the waters with, if we did knight d7, if this was taken, if this happened, then that would be an unfortunate situation for black. Yeah, that would suddenly be unfortunate. That is the only motivation I can really find with b4, which just opens white up more, honestly.
Yeah. Well, b6 on the board, I think it's practical. I don't see any drawback here, because I mean, it feels like kind of a passive move like black could be developing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, in this position, white can't do anything, and then after b4, b6, basically nothing has changed. So, yeah, it doesn't really make sense for black to allow some complications here.
I love the name elitist user. we covered a bunch of games, and this final game is being played on Lichess, so we do not yet have a clever way. We're just like importing moves. One ChessDojo debate that kind of I thought Kostya was going to fight me on this one, but it never turned into an earnest battle. Was at the beginning of ChessDojo, Kostya said, "You gotta put the letters and numbers on the board," and I said, "No, I can't do it, Kostya. I can't do it." So whenever Kostya is hosting the stream, you see those letters and the numbers, and aesthetically, I just can't deal with the letters and the numbers. So that is, I might be an elitist in other ways, but that is the surest proof of my elitism.
That's crazy. I don't even see them. Like, I literally don't even notice them. But I know that they help other people, and so I don't mind.
It is true that in some, if you just show, like, for example, since I turn them off, if I ever do that puzzle rush stuff, a lot of times the position will be so whack, and I can't tell, like, within a couple seconds whether it's what side is playing from which side, and then that's truly frustrating. So sometimes even I need to.
That's true. Yeah, that one is complicated. I found what works best for me is you just try to orient where one piece is, and then that kind of tells you exactly. I guess I have the squares on, but for me, if it's like, a lot of times like both sides have passed pawns and you don't know who's promoting where, and the kings are all over the place, so it's not like logical like where everything started. I think if you just figure out like, okay, this is a black pawn on c5, then your brain instantly knows like, okay, I'm going this way. So I think once you lock on to like one piece, or one pawn I should say, and you know where that pawn is, because you know the c5 square if you're black, then you know which way you're going, obviously.
Wait, what are you talking about? Like if you're like, what? I mean, I was talking about just being shown some random position, in which case I wouldn't know where the pawn was going. But you're talking about like in a real game or something?
No, I mean in Puzzle Rush, because it tells you like, okay, black to move on the side, or it tells you like whose turn it is, but you're still not sure actually which way you're facing sometimes.
Okay,
even though it says black to move.
Right.
But I found that like, okay, if I recognize that like I have a pawn on f3, then I just know like, okay, the pawn is going forward, and then everything kind of immediately orients itself.
Right.
But yeah, without the coordinates, maybe it is.
So rook g3 on the board. I assume my student's gonna play knight d7 here. He's got loads of time. Now this game, this time control is pretty whack, where you get 45 seconds because that's a lot of time.
Right.
No, I didn't see the chess school video. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, let me ask you, Coach. You said there earlier, you teased me and said there were loads of things that have happened in the land of ChessDojo that we are going to talk about. Did we get to those things?
We talked about a few of them. Let's see, the big changes, or I started this puzzle grind thing, so I'll be streaming a lot of just like Puzzle Rush, which I actually think like, such a great idea. Just drill it like 2 hours a day. I've gotten a couple of my students on it as well. I'm actually just like very excited because they're already good tactically, but I just like, they're young, so I just want to see how much progress they can make. And this kid Eli, I think he's brilliant. He's clearly shown that the method works. I mean, his rating is like 2200, but in terms of like solving puzzles, I mean, he just like crushes me. I mean, not crushing me, but he's like clearly faster. And he's just been drilling it like hours and hours. And I'm still trying to get to GM, and so I feel like, I mean, I have to like fundamentally, I don't think I can get better, you know, because I am not that young, so I need to like really work like really hard if I actually have to, if I actually want to like fundamentally improve my skills, like my visualization speed, my pattern recognition. I mean, I think the older you get, the more work it takes. I think the higher rated you get, you know, the less I'm benefiting from like an individual knight fork. But I think over time, hopefully the volume is good. When I did the woodpecker method last year, I was basically doing like 2 hours every other day or so of solving. But that was different because those puzzles are not like Puzzle Rush. Those get much harder very quickly.
Okay, let me ask you about this. So when you're doing it, you're doing the 3-minute, right? I don't know, comprende.
3 minute, yeah.
But then that just means that you get all the easy problems first. So you got to do like the back. That's why I made fun of you on Twitter for doing like 1,000 back rank.
It is a lot of back rank mates.
Right?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, with the 5 minute, you get 2 extra minutes for the harder puzzles. So I think maybe that actually would make more sense for me. Eli said I can do either one. It's just that you can't do both together because then it's weird to track your scores. Because you're obviously gonna get more on the 5 minute, but I can do a 5 minute as well. I did the 3 minute because I started doing like Puzzle Battle, and that's a 3 minute one. So I can put those scores. I can count those scores all the same. Yeah, Mitch, you got a couple years.
Well, his wife's talking to him about a kid, so he doesn't have a couple years. He's toast. That guy's deep trouble.
You got 9 months.
9 months. You got 9 months to make GM. Mitch, you better make GM quick. Oh man.
Hey, we got Noah Cubes in the chat. I think this is my student who played Scott.
Oh right.
Yeah, no, actually, you did have one moment we thought you could have played Queen D5 instead of B4. I actually liked B4. I called B4 as a move that looked interesting. It doesn't work concretely, but you know, it happens. But Queen D5 there, if you check it out, was very strong.
Now I want to give props to my student who just played Knight D7, and the reason I want to give props is I'm sure he could have played Queen F6 as well. But Knight D7, I feel, is just aesthetically so much more pleasing because you're gonna give the pawn, Knight E5 is gonna happen. You get that beautiful knight, and we could analyze this forever, but I think this is just toast.
Yeah.
Toast.
Bishop G4. Yeah, it's just
oh my
bad.
God, just beautiful position for black. So I'm very happy with a lot of these moves that he played, and he really did play for the square. He did post his playing for the square situation there.
No, honestly, really, really good game. Especially Eric is like 1900.
Yeah. And you know, he kind of got roasted in this tournament. And like I said, he had trouble in a lot of positional situations, like with Vishnu, and he made some positional mistakes. But like I said, he's got mad skills, and if he can just get past some of the positional stuff, well, I think he could be a real monster. Okay, so this happened. Queen F8 on the board.
Yeah.
And white is just in a world of pain here. I don't have any good advice for him.
No, it's all on black now. I mean, I think he should. I think the hard part is over. It's just a matter of bringing the pieces in.
Let's say Queen G3 is probably going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. And then you've got just a wide variety of moves. I'm assuming Rook B8 is strong. I'm assuming Bishop G4 is strong. Knight F3 has got to be strong. All of that stuff is good.
Yeah, everything looks good. Someone's asking about Rook H3 back here. I would bet probably black has a good way to deal with this.
Just 95.
Yeah, 95, absolutely. The idea was if bishop moves, white gets E5, but yeah, tactics are just working out for black.
Now, this is a little bit obscene, but maybe this could have been practical attempt to sack the queen.
Yeah, queen g7.
Queen g7. If that somehow wasn't there, maybe we could. There's probably not true. Anyways, that was the rook h3. Let's see if queen d3 happens. He's thinking about it. Oh, he's down to 7 seconds. This is getting exciting. Queen c2.
Queen c2.
Now the problem with queen, there's obviously problems with both moves, but oh yeah, there's a lot of pain here. Bishop g4. I'm hoping my student really calculates it out to the end here. Okay, but let's go back to this puzzle rush thing because I'm kind of interested in it. I want to say my puzzle rush experience. I really dislike it. I really dislike puzzle rush for the most part. But that thing that you turned me on to, where you do the survival mode, that's actually more cool because to me, then you get, you can deal with your 1,000 back rank problems early, and then you get some harder problems that more like a real game where you have to sit and figure it out. And some of them, when you get to the 26 and 2800 ones, they're just more interesting. And honestly, when I'm doing I feel like if I do that 5-minute puzzle rush, I'm not that fast. I mean, my mouse, when I watch those people play that are super fast, I just don't even understand how they do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the mouse speed is that important. I think it helps a little bit maybe with your high score or something, but overall I feel like getting better at it would be a matter of increasing your overall pattern recognition and just thinking speed. I think the idea is that it's just all about quantity. I definitely do. I just think it's a different thing to work on your calculation when you have time to sit there and think. Eli would call this structured calculation, which you just kind of sit there. You got to go through your options. I feel like I'm quite decent at that part. When I have time, I feel like I can figure stuff out. But yeah, the idea is just to drill thousands of puzzles, and there are absolutely patterns that I feel like I can just feel like I've picked up now a little bit faster. Maybe it took me 4 seconds to spot it before, now it takes me 2. Which I don't know. I think in Blitz that's going to count for something. And in classical, if it helps me see more variations, I'm all for it.
A bishop g4 on the board. Oh man, look at this. My students are ripping it up today. They're playing for mate. They're playing for mate, my friends. Here, let's show a couple cool mates. King d3, mate. I mean, it's almost mate. You're gonna lose the queen or something. Something's gonna fall off the board here. Wow, he's gonna lose on time here after bishop d4. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, just nothing to do.
Queen b3, so he resigns. Dang, because knight d4. Beautiful move. Beautiful game.
Yeah.
Also. Opening very strange, but you know what? I want to say this about this is actually to the point of people studying chess. Now, I think Mitch earlier said I was anti-chessable-ish, and I'm not. The thing about openings, especially let's say at Eric's level at 1900, what you're actually going to get is a lot of people playing weird moves. Like in this game, there's no way you could prep for that. There's definitely some King's Indian ideas that can happen in this game. But in terms of you're not going to ever prep some weird stuff like you're going to see here. And so anyways, from beginning to 1900 even to 2300, you're going to have to consistently knock out guys like this who neglect time, right? Their standard problem is they neglect time. And here we go, e4. That was the first loss to tempo.
Yeah, and then d4.
e4. Oh my god. Yeah. f5. f5 was a bold move. And then after f4, things got concrete pretty quickly.
Right. But yeah, I think the biggest gains are made, much to your point, just studying structures, studying middle games, of course tactics, and working on calculation. Because yeah, you'll just get a variety of positions out of the opening. People will play weird stuff, and
Right.
if you don't know what to do with an advantage, then yeah, it's like a little point in studying exactly how to reach that advantage.
And and you could say like you could make a generalization about this being about other 2200 players, but like Kostya pointed out, when Magnus is playing some random 2600 dude who he has no respect for, he's gonna play like e4, knight c6, or this other sad thing that he does with like knight f6, and he allows e5 and knight h5, and it's just like, oh man. And then he's raging on very strong GMs with these offbeat lines because we're just playing chess in a slightly worse position.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Magnus, yeah, I feel like just pound for pound, like, just like the best player. You just have a position and you got to come up with a plan. You don't have theory. I feel like this is where he outplays everyone.
Right.
Sterl SP was asking, what rating would I give to a player who's 2500 in tactics? If we're talking like chess.com 2500 tactics, honestly, that's a huge range. I've definitely seen players who are like 1800 who are 2500 in tactics. And sure there's players who are 2500 and 2500 in tactics. So it can really just depend on a bunch of things.
Coach, I have a pro tip for us. Now, first of all, I want to talk about any other thing that happened in ChessDojoLive, but at the end of this, let's raid Josh Liddell.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Some other questions in the chat. Do I think it's worth documenting your whole opening repertoire? At a certain level, I think maybe I would say above 2000 is where one should start getting kind of serious about their openings and trying to have like a consistent repertoire, and trying to be aware of like what they know, what they don't know, what lines they still need to look at. Below that, I don't think it's so important. I think just having like a Lee chess study with some of your lines or a chessable repertoire is totally fine for majority of players out there. Okay, besides Positional Chess Handbook, what other middle game books do I recommend? The Hellstein book, Mastering Chess Strategy. Such a good one. I always come back to recommending that one. Of course, Reassess Your Chess is good. For slightly lower rated players, like just getting into chess, I've always liked John Nunn's Understanding Chess Move by Move. I think that was a really good book. It just shows a lot of like fundamental positional ideas and dynamic ideas in chess. So that one's a really good one too. Other thing with ChessDojo is, so yeah, I just did the stream yesterday with Corked where we had like a team battle, and I think we're gonna do those again. Hopefully we get our own little hordes going.
Yeah, and I think obviously the big news is David has started doing loads of streaming.
And David's in.
Yeah. And actually, here's something we should do. Let's publish tomorrow our schedule. Our schedule for our business. Oh, and I got to tell you something that also is an announcement. My wife is taking me away for that, like a week. Did we have to? This is a question for anybody out there. Help us out. We need to move, man. We need to get out of Baltimore. We don't know where we're going. We're gonna go look up in Massachusetts at places and stuff. I don't know if we want to go to Massachusetts. It's cold over there.
What about Oregon? Oregon's cool.
Dude, Oregon, yeah. I've been trying to tell her, and she's got like family here, and honestly, like, our marriage is pretty good, but she's like an East Coast girl, and I just want to go back to the West Coast. I was thinking about Oregon, like a little town like Corvallis or something. I'd love to live in a little town like Corvallis. Oh man! And Bruce was talking to me about Eugene, and Eugene would be cool too as a place to go live. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we got Archmage in the chat. I think he lost the game. You're playing white, is that right? I think so. Arch, I just had actually just one main note for your game. We looked at it a little bit during the show, but that was the game. That was the Latvian Gambit,
Right.
and I just want to tell you, you got to just take the pawn. What are you afraid of here? I mean, d3. You give black everything. You just let black play white essentially. Now black can just play for the initiative. Your bishop is blocked in.
I'm getting some good feedback here. First of all, Mitch, do you live in St. Louis?
I think so. Yeah.
St. Louis? I mean, I've spent a lot of time in St. Louis in the last couple of years doing the jam and residence thing at the club there. And, St. Louis, it's interesting. It has a lot of the similar problems as Baltimore, but it's definitely chess heaven. So I don't think I could get my wife to move to St. Louis, but I think that's a good suggestion. And Neil, I have a question for you, buddy. What do you think about the Pioneer Valley? So I know you mentioned something closer to Boston. You're thinking Pioneer Valley. And I talked to my friend David Vigorito. He's near Boston. And he's just like anything west. He's like, no, you can't do it. You got to be around Boston. That's the only thing that counts. But I don't know. I don't need to live in another big city or anything like that.
I lived outside of St. Louis for about 15 months. I was in St. Charles at Lindenwood University.
Right, that's right, yeah.
And I liked St. Louis. I mean, obviously the club is fantastic, so I think that's a reason to move there on its own, because the club will provide work in many cases, and you'll be set. I like St. Louis. It has good food, good beer, parks, zoo. Midwest, super nice people. If FE Arch, yeah, Queen H5 check, game over. And there's like Germany, Jesse.
If my wife spoke German, I lived in Germany forever. If my wife spoke German, I think it'd be on the table.
Oh wow! How long did you live in Germany for, and when was that?
5 years. That's where I got good at chess too. I should have been doing more on my doctorate and everything. I was playing in the Bundesliga. So that was a great time in my life. Yeah. That's funny that Neil doesn't even know where the Pioneer Valley is. He lives in Massachusetts. He doesn't know where the Pioneer Valley is. The Pioneer Valley, Neil, is the Connecticut River going down the middle of your state. Come on, buddy.
Oh.
Come to Scotland. I would do Scotland. It's funny now. I think, first of all, it's very hard to move anywhere right now. I don't think they would let you fly out of the country. But Scotland, yeah, Scotland would be great. Yeah. Now, this is the thing Neil's saying. Like, everybody, when people talk about when they're from Boston, they always want to move toward Boston. But here's the thing, Costa. We don't have to live in the city because we both have work that doesn't involve, like, being somewhere. And
right.
If you lived anywhere close to Boston to buy a house or something, oh my God, it's going to be $1 billion.
Yeah, that's our dream.
In the Pioneer Valley, you just get a house almost for free. Not for free, but it's a lot cheaper.
Well, yeah, I mean, I work from home, and the Bay Area is super expensive. So we've been
right.
You were talking about life goals. Our fantasy, is just getting, taking the cost of rent and buying a full house. And
absolutely.
Another place. But I'm a weather person. I need sunshine. I couldn't live anywhere that gets a winter, like Boston or Chicago or New York. I just can't handle it. And I think it's unnecessary, to be frank.
It's kind of hard. So you're thinking about Oregon as well, right?
I like Oregon because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's close to California.
Yeah.
Has a chess community, chess players up there. So
who's up there in Oregon?
I feel like they've got a couple masters, maybe some 2400 players. I don't know. I confuse everyone from Oregon with some of the players from Seattle because I feel like a lot of them. Yeah, I just mixed them up. But Seattle's cool too. They have a good chess scene there as well.
Canada's honestly cool. Totally cool. I spent a lot of time Edmonton. There's tournaments up there I played in. I played Calgary a bunch. Those were cool tournaments, you know. And it is. I've been there in December. Oh man, what's cold, but the elevation's not that high, so it's not like. Anyway, that would be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's funny, Scott.
All right, Neil. I'm in all seriousness. I'm thankful for what you're saying. I will check out Carla. We are actually. So we're going to go up there next week, and so I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss our next Sunday night of the fights. I might miss 2 in a row. In fact, we're going to see.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe David can join in.
Yeah, no. I mean, you guys will live without me. You don't need me. We might be back by the 11th, you know, or 12th rather. Would be the Sunday after next. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's see. We'll do the schedule. I think we can put up a schedule tonight. I think I have a good idea. Actually, our next stream will be tomorrow. I'll be streaming twice. I'm going to be doing some puzzle grinding in the afternoon around 12 Pacific. And I'm hoping to get Eli on as well. He said he would stream with me maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I'll be doing Norm Hunter at 5.
Man, you're on. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think. Well, we're like I said. I think we're going Pioneer Valley. We're also looking like Philly area, and she's got relatives down in Charlottesville. I don't know about any of that stuff. I don't like the South. But anyway, so I don't know. We are gonna move. I just don't know where.
Maybe Charlotte's not bad. They got the chess club.
Right, Charlotte's even that's not Charlottesville, right? Charlotte is a different place.
Yeah, I know. I just meant Charlotte's not bad.
No, Mike Klein lives in Charlotte. I hang out with him there. You know, it's a dynamic town. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Danya's out there too. It's like a whole. It could be.
Danya's out there.
He moves. Yeah, he works for Charlotte now. Or he was. I don't know. Maybe things changed, but he moved out there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. Okay, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. It's been fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Jesse. We're gonna be rating our buddy Josh Friedel.
Oh yeah, read it.
I'm sure he's working on chess. If you like us, you'll like him. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks everyone who tuned in.
All right, bye everybody.